All right, guys, we're back with another episode. Today's going to be super fun because I got Spencer with me, and Spencer's one of the funniest people in fucking jiu-jitsu and one of the biggest characters. And we're going to try to keep it a little lighthearted today, getting some conspiracy theories at the end, but kind of talk about Spencer's come up in the game, MMA, combat jiu-jitsu, and just, professional jiu-jitsu in general. But before we do that, we're going to go ahead and talk about some sponsors. And I'm super pumped because, as you can see by the logo, super fun because I got Spencer with me. Fucking got my volume on here, but as you can see up here, I got a new sponsor, and I am super pumped about this because I've been drinking whiskey since I was fucking 12, and to get a company that I actually really love to sponsor me and basically pay me to brag about drinking their whiskey is a fucking dream come true to me. So Have a Shot of Freedom is a whiskey company that's owned by veterans, okay? And that's going to be a common thing you're going to see on the sponsors. I really enjoy helping out veteran-based companies. My family has a lot of military history, mostly Canadian. My little brother's a Marine right now, so I really have a soft spot for the military and supporting them. So most of my companies that you're going to see sponsored on the podcast are going to have some sort of military affiliation. And Have a Shot of Freedom is no different than that. They're a military-based whiskey company. They had the idea in 2011, I think it was, while they were in Afghanistan, actually in a firefight. And that alone is worth the story to go to their website and read. The really interesting thing about these guys is they do small batch bourbon, okay? And for me, I'm a huge fucking fan of bourbon. And the pricing is really good. It's a very flavorful whiskey, hints of vanilla and stuff like that. And personally, dude, I don't think there's anything better for the price. And the company is just something I love to get behind. So if you want to order yourself a batch, go ahead. There's a link above. Click that. It'll take you to a page where you can figure out how to order it online because you're not legally allowed to sell liquor online without a liquor license or something like that. I don't know. It's too fucking smart for me. But it's available at ABC Liquors and stuff like that. If you're in the Tampa area, ABC in Sarasota, Bradenton, and Tampa has it in stock, or you can order it online, get delivered to your door. If you want to get some of their merch, use code STARLORD for 15% off their shirts. They got whiskey glasses. They got a whole bunch of shit there. So I definitely recommend that. Next sponsor is Liberty Ammunition. Big fans of them. I was actually just out at the range yesterday shooting. So again, 9mm ultralight, my favorite defensive carry round for my shield. I'm actually going to get myself some of the 45 defensive rounds too, because I got a 1911 now and got to stay strapped with the best defensive ammunition on the market, and that is Liberty Ammo. So go to libertyammo.com, use code STARLORD for 10% off. CBD You and Me is next. www.cbdumeme.com/StarLord. The best CBD products on the market. They are, big in helping the vets. So that's another company that I love. They also help put on the Subversive events, which is team grappling. It's so much fun to watch, and they really help get the money into the hands of the grapplers. So I would definitely recommend watching Subversive, ordering CBD You and Me products. It is something I enjoy and I use on a weekly basis. Now that I'm not training, not as much, but I definitely use at night to help me get to sleep without using things that will, destroy my body. So got to be healthy sometimes. And last but not least, NogiNation.com. Spencer actually wore the Fuck the IBJJF rash guard on Combat Jiu-Jitsu Worlds. So I'm sure we'll be talking a lot about fucking the IBJJF today. But yeah, NogiNation.com. We got shirts. We got the Wicked Warrior coffee on there. I fucking love the coffee. I'm actually not drinking it today because I got to order myself some more from my distributor. The only other coffee that I drink is this super coffee. Other than that, it's all Wicked Warrior coffee. But yeah, you can go check them out at NogiNation.com. All right, let's get Spencer on here and stop selling stuff to keep this thing up. Spencer, what's up, dude?
Hey, howdy doody, neighbor.
Always with the Make America Great Again hat. I fucking love it. I know it's going to be
I know it pisses people off, honestly. And I'm like, for those who know me really well, they're like, I'm not going to give him the reaction he's looking for.
You were like the biggest walking contradiction to me, and I fucking love it. You're walking around with this Make America Great Again hat. We're going to talk conspiracy theories after this. We're in a super liberal martial art. Like, I see the fucking finisher shirt too. Shout out to Zach.
Oh,
and
hell yeah.
JM.
Shout out to Zach and JM over there at Finishers. I love this shirt. It
Yeah,
fits
dude.
perfectly, and it's a nice color. I'm ready to go camo, go dark if I need to.
Get ready to disappear in the woods, make the trees whisper.
Yeah, naked, like Aaron Harris.
Aaron Harris.
I'm gonna do that. That's a great idea. I live like right on 75, and there's a tree line there. Perfect place to run naked. Nobody will believe anybody. They're like, there's a guy running naked on the side of the road. Like, no way.
I'm running up and down 75, fucking butt ass naked with your Batman tattoo on your chest. Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's the problem. It's like I'm a dead giveaway naked. Like I better clothe myself up.
There's a short, skinny guy with all these tattoos. Fucking come get him now. Jesus. So what you been up to, dude?
Pretty much staying busy, trying to do jiu-jitsu here at the house and with Aaron and Lewis, because my roommates are 2 black belts, so that's fortunate. And we have Matt's here at the house. Staying busy with Zoom classes. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I'm working out, because man, I probably worked out like 3 times to be honest. So, but they are, and I see that. And I've been working on Wednesdays, helping a buddy of mine gives me an opportunity to work during this time for his landscaping company. Nice. And it's pretty badass to just throw on some metal and just edge the lawn and do some like weed whacking and some saw jobs, stuff like that. And so that got me actually into gardening. So I've been planting with Aaron and Lewis. We started a little potted garden of pineapple, herbs, tomatoes, and I fucking fell in love with it. It's dope.
Yeah, dude, that's something I always wanted to get into, because I remember growing up, whenever we had a yard, my mom was always planting a garden and shit like that. So I'm as soon as we get a house, and like I know they have like tower gardens and stuff like that, but it's so fucking tough. Like I got animals in the apartment and shit like that, but as soon as we get a little bit of room to grow some stuff, that's something I want to get into.
Make like a Shinto shrine.
Yeah.
That would be fucking dope. You go get like a bunch of like oak tree and like paint them red, and you make like a Shinto arc, and you're like, yes, I do this shit. I really actually plan on doing something like that, putting like a Shinto arc, not for like religious purposes, because that is a religion, and I don't want people to think of the appropriation, but more so of like the fact that Musashi himself was like a Shintoist, and that they're like Shinto Buddhist over there in Japan, and it's a really admirable like ideology of the way that they looked at it, and it goes into the Bushido as well, like into the way of the samurai, the way that the Shintoism is structured. Yeah. So I've always just kind of admired that. Japan's dope.
Japan is dope. It's definitely something I want to go to. The funny thing about like the samurai, I remember, and again, this is coming from Bill, so like take it for what you want, like he's always like, yeah, the samurai weren't these peaceful warriors, they smoking cigarettes, drinking and partying, and they go fucking murk some people. And I'm like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It makes me feel better for what I am.
In a clan group, you know what I mean? Like this is our clan, and like, yo, there's those fuck boys over there. Let's go get them. And then if a few of them made it out alive, a war started. And it's like, get the boys. Nobody retreats. And but Musashi is like if you haven't read into that, you should really I don't want to tell Musashi's tale, but if you don't know who Minamoto Musashi is, he wrote the Book of the Five Rings, which is just as important as the Art of War when it comes to martial arts, and you should really look into him. So
yeah, people don't give that one a lot of credit. They always talk about Sun Tzu and the Art of War. They don't really talk about the Art of Five Rings. But yeah, man, this is the time to get the reading in, And I was just talking to someone this morning about it, because during regular time, I don't normally have time to sit down and read, because I'm training and then I'm driving back and forth between the gym, my house, and the other businesses and stuff like that. So I'm always on audiobooks and on podcasts. And now for me, it's I'm trying to get back into actually picking up a physical book and feeling that paper and reading through it, because there's something
I got one for you
about it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got one for you.
Yeah,
I just give it to you. I'm not gonna even talk about it. Yeah, it'll get me in trouble. But you should read it.
But hey, this is the fucking time to get you in trouble. Like, we're gonna get into some conspiracy theories in the
Not
end,
this
right?
book, but yeah, you should read it though. It's not. I don't mean for it to demean, but it really explains what like my mind process is. But I'll give it to you. But I also just bought Tucker Carlson's book, Ship of Fools. I got it for like $4.95. I'm reading that right now. That's actually really dope. Like he you know, I love Tucker Carlson. I don't really watch mainstream media, to be honest, but like I listen to Tucker Carlson because he'll go after Republicans on Fox. He'll listen and agree to Democrats like Tulsi Gabbard, Andrew Yang, and be like, yeah, you know what, that makes sense. He goes after the billionaire big businesses that are raping this country. Really went over after the opioid epidemic, which, you know, we'll get into that later about, you know, why I have a soft spot for that. So I'm like, yo, this dude's really, you know, busting the bubble on shit. Yeah. So you got to, and so, I mean, like I'm reading that book. You should really get into like reading some like maybe philosophy and political theory. The Compound Effect is a good book. I don't know if you've ever read that.
Already, yeah.
Yeah. What was it? The Art of Learning is Rob Kahn talks about that. He talks about the art of learning. You should really like, and like when I have
about that a lot.
When I have a and you know what, to be honest, when it comes to Rob Kahn and him teaching, I'm usually under him with like, what time is a grip in my neck? I'm almost always as uke. Like if you didn't know Rob or me, you'd think Rob hated me.
There was a while that he did.
Yeah, but you know, like I'm too honest and loving, and like I come off as, you know, abrasive and like hateful, but really I'm just trying to piss you off for a little bit, see where we're at. Yeah, see, are we friends? Are we really friends? Are we really friends? Because I didn't delete you. Yeah, you deleted me. Bro. Like, go ahead.
It's fucking crazy because I remember when all that shit was going on. Like, he was saying that he would never give you your black belt, and now here you are. Like, you have the date that you're getting your black belt now.
Yep. I don't know about a date, but like, you know, I'm pretty sure it's coming up, something like that.
I thought maybe this whole like quarantine shit kind of threw it for a loop, but I thought there was like a date in motion for that kind of stuff. But
maybe in the summer or the winter or something like that. Not 100% sure. But we'll see. If quarantine could have, I mean, who knows? Tomorrow I could go relapse and fucking go on like a 90-day alcohol bender. And totally.
Just kidding. Don't do that.
Hey, I'm 600 days, no drugs or alcohol. I mean, something that I never taught, like literally like put out there on social media, like say is like cannabis and stuff, which, you know, I'm all for that. Always have been. I think that, you know, you should moderate whatever you do, especially if it alters the state of your mind. Yeah. And if I've learned anything through an absolute year, actually, I'll tell you a funny story, and this is probably gonna make people feel some type of way, but I was, you know, like I was wrong and right for it. So I'm getting ready to leave rehab and move back down. I've had a job, you know, I'm sober for a year, haven't smoked weed in over a year. All right, that's the longest in my life I've ever not smoking weed. And I mean, I've been in jail. And when I've been in jail, somehow I've managed to get weed, smoke. So like, can't ever say that ever. And when I was on probation, I was just always like, I never stopped smoking weed on probation. Like I think like Plies had like a lyric where it's like, piss test me, dog, smoke what I'm ready. But and so I'm like, shit, yeah, I'm getting ready to come home. I'm gonna hit a vape and see what that's like. Get myself. So I hit one like 2-3 times, and I'm like, man, that did not work. So I hit it like 5 more times, and I'm wearing a smartwatch, and I'm sitting down, and I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, and it was like I was 12 years old again, and I smoked like a joint for the first time. Yeah. And I was like about to panic, and you know, logic and 30 years old set in saying, you're all right, man. You're not going to die. Remember when you were 12 and you felt this way? And I was like, yeah. So I look at my watch and I check my heart rate. Now, mind you, I've been sitting down for like 2-3 minutes still. My heart rate was like 138. I'm just like, doof, 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 doof. And I'm just like, ah, ah. And I was like, all right, enough of that. Like, like, and it was like the first time in my life that I was like, moderation. And like, it was a good lesson. So like, I mean, I haven't drank alcohol. I drink 0.0 Heineken now. I haven't even mouthwashed with anything that's alcohol. I pride myself on it. I mean, like, I honestly think in the logical sense that I'm in a place where I could do whatever I want and feel like I have the moderation, but I like the high score of not, you know, like there's a lot of people that are always going to have a little bit of respect for me that I value to have from them by me maintaining this. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it would be cool to have a drink with me sometime. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure people feel that way, or yeah, man, that would be nice if you would just loosen up and like not be such a an ant or like a Debbie Downer. But like, I just, you know, my dad, my mom, my close friends, and like honestly, I give a lot of credit to, I don't know if you know Kitty Moore. I mean, yeah. but like, yeah, I give a lot of credit to her. She like when like I was in like my low period, she like was like, you need to get away. And like normally people normally don't make it out of that. You know what I'm saying? Like they normally just, man, I've already fucked up so much. But like it was cold there. And like,
yeah, dude, you were in fucking Minnesota.
I had no choice but to fucking keep it going. Like it's just like,
so like, when you were in rehab in Minnesota, I remember you telling me you would walk in the cold to the gym and train. Not walk,
ride a bike.
Ride a bike, so, that's what it was.
So here's a really cool thing. So if you're ever in Minneapolis, you should go train over at Akagi Jiu-Jitsu or McCune's. There's a lot of great gyms there. There's a lot, you know, like that I would totally recommend. But the ones that I primarily trained at when I first started there were Southside Jiu-Jitsu. They're great too. And then I had to like make my way down to Akagi. But yeah, there were like the first day that I was like, all right, I got to go train in Akagi. Things changed for me. And so I hit up the head instructor. His name's Topper Braddock. And I'm like, hey, man, I want to come train, blah, blah, blah. I'm a brown belt. And, you know, kind of not trying to be like a total dick, but I'm like, yo, I'm a competitor. Like I really like, and I really mean, I wanted him to know that I was like serious. I wasn't just like one of those randos hitting him up. And he's like, yeah, sure. And then I'm like, my name's Spencer. And he's like, oh, I think I remembered you. Like, cause I reffed at the tournament that you were at. And it was the first tournament I went to when I first showed up. And I had like 16 matches that day, won 15 by submission.
Yeah, that's that absolute division, right?
Yeah, I lost in the absolute finals no-gi to this kid, fuck, I know his name. I can't think of it for the life of me right now. Like I talk Jackson McVeigh. I talk to him a lot, and he's really good too. The kid's a giant, fucking 6'4", 200-some pound man child that fucking manhandled me. But Topper, I hit him up, and so I'm like, all right, I'll come in on Thursday. And so I could get all my gear. It's like 45 degrees, pouring rain, and everybody is advising me not to ride 11 miles in the rain on a bike to go there. And I'm like, you don't understand, bro. Jiu-jitsu or die, motherfucker. Like, I need to train. I'm here. Like, and I would just kind of like throw the fact that this is like what's keeping my sobriety intact. But in all reality, you know, in a sense it did. But in all reality, I just wanted a fucking sympathy factor to go train because the director there trained with me, did jiu-jitsu with me. And so I rode there, and then the very next day it was snowing, and I rode there, and then they were just really awesome. Gave me a lot of the members there gave me rides, but they wouldn't even let me like ride my bike back. If I made it there on my bike, they'd put my bike in their car and take me back. And so it's just like, if you want to know about like a straight up family, like that's why I always rep Akagi. Like even though I was only there for a little bit, I'll always just be like, they're the shit. Like every person in that gym, good training partners. Isaac Russell, one of my favorite roles there, very athletic dude. Steve Norwick, one of my favorite roles there. And like they just really helped me with a lot of my. And remember, this is when I was fucking taking off in jiu-jitsu too. Like I was on Kasai, I was fucking combat jiu-jitsu worlds, I was going wherever I could, competing any and everywhere, flying, and like I was doing all my training there, primarily in the gi. Not even the gi, you know what I mean? Like, and they just like really brought it and helped create a really good environment to help me stay accountable and give me good jiu-jitsu and stuff. So I get a little emotion talking about it.
It's crazy, man, because like I've seen you come up, like I think I first saw you as like a blue belt, and then you started competing in like Zapateros.
MMA.
Yeah, and MMA and stuff like that.
We met in MMA.
Yeah.
Like, because my impression of you is amazing.
Go ahead.
Give me my purple belt. What was the submission? Was it like head arm triangle?
No, it was a mounted triangle. Yeah.
Mounted triangle, right? Yeah. It was just you mauled that guy.
And then listen, hey, I got my fucking purple belt, so it worked. So, but dude, it's crazy because like you were competing. I don't want to say like at a high level, but you were competing pretty successfully all the way through, not being sober, being a complete fuck up. You fought MMA, you did like professional jiu-jitsu, like, and then all of a sudden, like you get sober and everything starts coming together. Now, do you think it was just like getting sober, or do you think there was something that clicked there too in your grappling game, or just like how you approached the competition that led to that success? Because you won the Kasai qualifiers. You guys did really well in the finishers quintet. You won your match at Combat Jiu-Jitsu Worlds. Like, you've been doing some big shit, dude.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm gonna think, ponder, and talk slowly when I think about that. You know, yeah, there's a couple times that I competed fucked up and did well. You know what I mean? Like, and then there was times where I would get ready to go to an MMA fight, and like I'd come back and my teammates would just be like, "You won?" Like wanting me to lose, not because they want me to lose, they just wanted me to like learn a lesson or something. They're like, "You won again?" And what was it, armbar? You know, like back in the day, I was like not really like much of a. I mean, I like leg locks, but I wouldn't have called myself a leg locker. Plus, they were like heavily frowned upon.
Yeah.
And but like I had like 6 first round arm bars in MMA. You know, like I was just like I just boom another arm bar, boom another arm bar, boom another arm bar. I got it to the ground, arm bar. And my ritual before every MMA fight was drinking a 24 to 224 ounce Yingling tall boys 30 to 45 minutes before my fight.
I thought I was crazy. I would stay up till like 3, 4 in the morning, drink like probably 4 or 5 beers, but fucking 30, 40 minutes before MMA. That's pretty crazy.
Loosen me up. I wouldn't be. There was only one time I got a little over the edge, and like I was at County Line Saloon fighting for RCF maybe in Melbourne over where Donnie Hare. You remember his events? Back at Levels where like Muhammad Darius and Alex Vickers used to fight there. All the guys who fought at Donnie Hare also fought on the what was that Daytona promotion?
I didn't really make it over to the East Coast too much.
But there's a really big Daytona promotion over there.
Was it Fight Time?
Nah, it's in Daytona, not Fort Lauderdale. But
the East Coast is all fucking blur to me.
I know. I barely went over there. Melbourne was like very, very loving and welcoming, but. So like and like I went over to the bar and I had my hands wrapped and my gloves on. I'm like, yo, I'll take you know, like a Yingling, and then it was like buy one get one, you know, like the happy hour thing. So they handed me over like 2 glasses and they weren't major big. So like blam blam, I was like, that was good. And then I was like, I'll take 2 more. And she's like, no, you get 2 more. The deal is they come in 2s. And then you get these, and I was like, oh, my God. And I slammed those. And my girlfriend at the time was like, did you just drink beer before your time fight? And I'm like, yeah, I'll be all right. And then, like, you know, I really wasn't. I was starting to get, like, wobbly, and I crawled in the cage like John Jones, not looking cool, but because it was vital for me to, like, really keep my balance and not fall over.
Jesus.
And then, yeah, because I was, like, so, like, I wasn't like filled, you know, like I was really hydrated and had not a lot of stuff in my stomach. So like those beers hit me.
Yeah.
And so I was with my boy JJ and I armbarred the guy in like a minute or something. Luckily.
It's crazy because like people think of like the Wild West of MMA in like early late 90s, early 2000s, but dude, in Florida, like it's kind of fucking crazy, man. Like I remember my last
was amateur MMA.
I know, dude. I remember my last fight was the first time they discontinued like letting energy drinks in the locker room because someone had a heart attack in the cage the week before, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
I remember that.
And I was like 19 or 20 years old, and I'm just like, "Oh my god, I might fucking die tonight."
You want to hear a really crazy story?
Yeah,
about?
Dude, that's all I want to hear.
Yeah, all right. So check this out. I think like 2012, Coral Springs, New Breed. Heading over there. I'm riding dirty. Fucking bad tags on my brother's expedition. So I'm like, it's his. I didn't know. It happened like a fucking sheriff's pulling me over, and I'm on the highway. I'm heading over to New Breed. I'm gonna compete. I've got all these flyers in my car, geese stuff. My car's a mess, you know. And I'm with a dude I used to hang out with at the time, and then I start getting pulled over, and like I'm like, oh shit, I've got 8 capsules of Molly on me because I wasn't 8 capsules of Molly for me. I was going over to the East Coast to sell them at New Breed, hang out, party on that coast and stuff. Maybe keep some for myself, maybe not. You know, I was fine with drinking, smoking, and stuff. But at that point, I was like, I'm not going to hide these. These have got to be dispersed evenly between me and this guy. So, of course, I look over and I'm like, yo, I'm getting pulled over. You got to eat this Molly with me. And so I just go, blah, and like throw 4 in my mouth. And these are half-gram capsules. And I probably had like 0.3 in each capsule. So I took about a gram of Molly to my face. And so I hand him 1. He takes 1. 3 left, and he's like, nah, man, I'm not eating the rest of those. And I was like, fuck. So I open up the capsules and dump the Molly crystals between my seat, all right? And then throw the capsules in the back, just like flick them, like all like scattered in the back. And I'm like, my life. I knew the cop because at first I worked as a trustee in the jail under her in the core management where I clean like the courthouse and stuff. And second, because the McDojo I started at, she took like a kickboxing fitness class there. And I was like, oh, hey, remember me? So she was familiar with me. And I'm like, yeah, oh, look at me. I'm a blue belt now, and I'm going to compete. And so she pulls us out of the car. You know, I'm playing the governor formed. And she's like, your tags are bad. Another cop shows up, and they're like, yo, smells like weed. And luckily, the dude I was with was wearing compression shorts under his boxers and just stuffed a ½ ounce of sour D in his crotch. And dude, yeah, that's what smelled. And we're like, yeah, he smoked before I picked him up, but he doesn't have weed. And he looks at me and he's like, dude, why'd you tell them that? I was like, he doesn't have weed. And I told him. And so they pat him down and like, he's clear. And I'm like, look, I got to get to this tournament. And I'm like rushing them to let me go because the Molly's about to kick in. And I don't want to be like, shit, like right in front of them because I just ate the most Molly I've ever ate in my life. And I still have to drive because I'm still in Lee County. I still have to drive to Coral Springs. So he like, this is going to make me look bad to some people. But it's the truth. And guess what? Some of your kids are doing this. And you really need to like keep some fucking tabs on them and make sure they're not taking tabs and stuff. So, what I'll say is like, so they let us go, get in the car. We get to like about like Naples, and like it's really kicking in. We got to stop, get gas. And I'm like, fuck. And I get like a gallon of water. He gets a gallon of water, and we're drinking the water. And he's like, Pop Molly, I'm sweating. Woo! And I'm like, just shut up. I don't want to hear it. And so we drive like, mind you, I'm like, why? First of all, if I'm on a mission, I'm on a mission. If I'm going to compete somewhere, I'm going to compete somewhere. And you know that, unless my car breaks down. Which even happened.
Yeah, we could tell that one later.
Yeah, but like, so I get to Coral Springs, and then I'm like, oh shit, left my wallet at home. Like literally, like I have my ID because I keep my ID in my car. Like that's a dumb habit that I did. But my actual fucking wallet with like all my shit in it was not on me. And so my buddy he had to pay for me, and he wasn't going to compete. And so they let me jump in 6 divisions, and I was rolling face. Some people first impression of me was like me like scream tapping to cramps at that tournament, like because like I was cramped, like I was tap, and like I had a knot in my calf. I was a blue belt. I beat purple belt on points, and when I took his back in the video that I had, when I took his back, I don't know where the video is, but you could see me blowing up, like holding his back, like I got it, 4 points, like. But I'm just like, shit, fuck, can't let go. And I'm like, why did I do it? Like, and it's a horrible idea. But like, I was also on drugs, and people don't make great decisions on drugs.
What? You don't say?
Yeah, especially when you're on the most Molly you've ever eaten in your life. But luckily, I was leveled out because that dude mind you, he had ½ ounce of sour diesel. So I was like, yo, bro, roll up. I need to calm down. And so just like we competed, and like I didn't walk away with a gold medal that day, obviously, and I don't deserve one when I'm fucked up like that. But yeah, I mean,
like some of the craziest stories about competing, like even the ones when you're like not fucked up, like you fucking grappled J.M. Holland 2 weeks after getting hit by a fucking car on your bike.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, like I no regrets. Like JM fucking bought it too. And I was just like, shit. And I mean, like, and honestly, to be real, like when he choked me out, like, yeah, I tapped, but like, sure, I was probably gonna go unconscious any moment because he legit had a choke. But my tap was to like a pain in my tailbone, like a sciatica. I don't know why, but like I was just like, ow. Oh God, my back. And like I rolled to my stomach and was like, I got a lot of nerve damage all over my body. I got 2 gnarly herniated discs and 5 other like herniation bulges in my spine. So I'm fucked up.
Dude, how many motorcycle accidents were you in?
7.
Jesus fucking Christ. So
2 really bad ones.
Yeah, I remember
one really, really bad one.
Yeah,
but two pretty significant ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was, dude, ask Robbie, Terry. Oh my God, there's a lot of people that saw my junk in the hospital because they had me fucked up on Dilaudid in the hospital. And when I'm on pain meds, there's no hiding it. I can not hide the fact that I'm on pain meds because I'll be like scratching. And I have ideal places where I scratch. I'll scratch behind my ear. I'll scratch right here at the crook of my nose and my gooch and my butt cheeks. And so imagine not wearing underwear in a hospital gown and be like, hey, what's up, guys? What's going on? And everybody just being like, oh, there's Spencer's dick. Just like people who don't need to see it. You know what I mean? Like it's one thing if it's like my brothers and my like family members. It's like these are like family members who, like my brothers have taken baths with them. It's not like I get naked. Yeah. My dad made me too. And my dad used to like bathe us and stuff. So I mean, like I'm weird. I don't want my mom to see me naked, obviously, like it's because she's a woman. And like I know that kind of sounds like, but it's a more of like, oh well, my brother's like, it's like a fear, like Adam and Eve kind of thing. But yeah, like, fuck, man.
Dude, it's crazy. So like for 7 motorcycle accidents, how many MMA fights did you have? You had like close to 10, right?
No, 14.
Jesus Christ! Yeah. So 14 fights.
I had a lot of unsanctioned ones, sanctioned ones. Me too. Man, remember the Pitts Pen ones out in Immokalee?
A bunch of smokers and shit like that. So a bunch of MMA fights, motorcycle accidents. You've been competing jiu-jitsu for what, 9 years now?
I've been training jiu-jitsu for 8.5. Competing for 8 because I competed immediately. Once I got my blue belt, 5.5 months into jiu-jitsu, I jumped into an odd.
Yeah. So, dude, like you get a lot of shit, man, but you're surprisingly stable for someone who's come out of addiction, has come out of the prison system, had 7 motorcycle accidents, and like close to 15 MMA fights. Like, dude, what do you like attribute that to? Like, how the fuck are you still walking around?
Me?
Yeah.
This faith used to be fueled by hate and anger, to be honest. But honestly, like I still have like some anger in me, like, but like now I'm just like really like optimistic, happy, uh, and I want to have a family. You know what I mean? And until I do that, I'm guns a-blazing. But if I'm gonna do that, I have to have a better way of living, which is not drugs, not crime, having an honest life as much as I can. And so, like, to just be walking, I mean, like, I'm just grateful to. I really should go get checked out by a doctor, to be honest. I'm not even gonna fucking lie.
That's something I definitely want to see you do. But like you said something important there in the beginning. You're not fueled by hate and anger anymore. Like I think that's a really common story because I stopped fighting MMA when I didn't have that desire to die in the cage anymore. You know, like I was so fucking angry and I just hated myself, you know? And when that shit went away and my life started getting a little more stable, I was like, you know what? There's another motherfucker out there like I was that is willing to break me in half and kill me. And I just shouldn't be there anymore. Like, do you think that's just like a common thing for fighters? Or is that like, because I mean, there's like the GSPs of the world who don't seem like to have it, but like, we're all a little fucked up, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like, I tried to have that. And like, yeah, honestly, I'm not going to call myself a pacifist. I'm not hesitant to defend myself. Yeah. I really would prefer not to get an altercation. I really, and especially now that I don't drink, it's very easy to avoid altercations because like once my mouth gets running, I'm really actually not a confrontational person. Someone who, ask anybody that knows me in Fort Myers, that knows me from like getting in bar fights, I don't run my mouth. I look at you for like a second, smile, and take off. And I hit like 8 people, 5 people, 3, however many people I feel need to be hit who are looking at me wrong. And like that's the alcohol and the anger that I have. So that anger is in there. And I would take that anger and when I got into MMA, I was like coming out of the penal system like all the time, couldn't stay out of it. And it's like I'll tell you, I'll get into that story after I tell you this, but how I got into jiu-jitsu actually in MMA. But so it's like I just had all this anger and like I feel like I gassed it out, maybe a couple life lessons and like getting also what I really feel dragged me away from MMA is pro grappling because grappling to me, look at Vinny and Craig Jones and the shit talking that they're doing to each other. That's just kind of just humor. It's not really like personal. Like that's good. And like, that's awesome. And they'll kill you, but jiu-jitsu is a sport where 2 men can actually highly respect each other. I'm not saying they don't do that in MMA, but that's not the idea that most people have. Some people are like, I'm going to war in there. And I'm like, are you? Because I know a lot of people that are literally going to war tonight and it's not what you think it is. And I'm not trying to be one of those fucking boomer fucking, yeah, my president and fucking let's go to Iraq. It's like, they hate us for our freedom. You know what I mean? And, I'm not trying to say that, but like I feel like I spent out my anger and stuff, and like I had another outlet to disperse aggression instead of anger, and learn more like loving things. Because you get older. I mean, you're still young as shit too. How old are you? 25?
Yeah, I'm 25.
Fuck you. 31. But but like seriously, like you think that you've always been a very level-headed person. Anyways,
I got it all out pretty fucking early.
Yeah, there's you're still like, and this isn't like me talking shit. I can still see you're 25, 20-ish, but like by the time you're 30, like just the level of maturity you've always had since I've known you is gonna be like, you're gonna be like fucking a sage. Probably a gray beard. And
dude, I'm fucking going gray already. I'm 25. So.
It's just like, yeah, I got it out. And like, do you feel like you got it out?
I mean, So when did you start?
Do you get that itch? When did I start what?
When did you start partying? Like what age?
Well, 12 years old. I was like a skater. 12 years old. I was like a skater and like skater friends, Fort Myers. Alyssa Steamer would skate with us, and she was like an OG, and we'd all smoke pot, and drink. I hated drinking, but everybody drank. I actually didn't like drinking until I was 21, which was around the time that I started fighting.
Yeah, dude, like I started about the same age, around 12, when I first moved down to Florida, and I was always younger than everyone else. Like I graduated high school at 17, you know, so I got out and I stopped fighting by the time I was 20, you know, so like from 12 to like 22-ish, it was super fucking volatile, like doing some nasty ass, hard ass shit, and especially at a young age. So I feel like that experience, like you said, there's no regrets. You know, I think those experiences form you to be the way you are, you know, and like you had a longer go of it. But yeah, I feel like I got most of it out of me, but I do definitely get that itch every once in a while, you know, and I have to like, to me, it's ego, you know, and I have to keep that ego in check because it's like, oh, I just want to go out there and fucking fuck somebody up. But then when something snaps, I feel like a piece of shit and I end up crying on the fucking mat, you know? So like, there's still that itch, and there's still that itch to do some other shit too. But I don't know. I think it's mostly out now.
You say, I mean, like, I get the itch though. Yeah. I really want to. It's not that I want to be a fighter. I just want to fight again.
Yeah, dude.
Twice.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You know, like, I get that shit too. It's like 1 or 2 times, like just to see. Because I was fighting when I was a.
Just want to bust the heel hook out. You know what I mean? A heel hook, and I also want to like. I never knocked anybody out in MMA. So like as a goal for myself, I would like to improve my striking enough to where I can go into a pro fight and knock somebody out. Everybody thought I was going to go pro. I had a lot of, you know, clout and fucking repertoire behind me to be a pro. And I'm like,
I think we were both supposed to be on that FCF card, and
it collapsed.
Yeah, it collapsed.
I don't know the details of it, and I don't want to. I'm not. Yeah, people showed up to the weigh-ins, and they're like, "What?"
That was my first interaction with Jeff Bailey. He called me. He's like, "Hey, the event's not happening. Don't come to the weigh-ins." And like from that day on, I was like, "Oh, I like this guy." Like Jeff he kind of saved me from all that shit.
Here's the fucked up thing: is I had to pull out for an injury, and my opponent was like, "Man, he's faking it. I really did fuck my knee up bad. I popped it, and then that week, like 5 days later, he got hit by a four-wheeler from behind and had his leg broke or whatever. So, like, just our entire him and me. I see Kozlo's. My boy Kozlo. Like, that's my motherfucking dog. Hold on. I just want to give him a shout out. That's my dude. Hopefully, I know, like, it sounds like a pipe dream, but UFC is going to Jacksonville. And if they needed someone, that's their boy right there.
Dude, listen,
seriously.
I was talking to Mitch when I had Mitch from Combat Night on the podcast. We were talking about Kozlo. Like, dude, within the next year or two, I guarantee you Kozlo is going to be one of the big MMA promotions. Like, his last fight, did you see?
And active grappler. And active grappler.
In pro grappling. Dude.
That's why I call him Itachi of the Uchiha clan. If you knew Naruto, you would be like, because he's quiet, he's respectful, he's very intelligent, and he's calculated. And like when he fights, like I'm a fan, you know, like me and him competed one time and we just were like dogs ever since. Like I knee-barred him at Sapatero, a Sapatero that we competed at. And then he went and knee-barred his opponent in MMA, and we contacted, he's just like, "Yo, dude, I knee-barred my opponent." I was like, "That's fucking awesome." I was like, "Did we just become best friends?" Yup. And like ever since, like I'm just like, if you're my boy, and you know this about me, if you're my boy, I'm like, check my fucking boy out. My people, I promote them. I don't require them to do it for me, you know, because I can promote myself just fine enough, you know, but I really I believe in my friends and stuff like that. That's a really cool trait that I like to, you know, like give myself credit for even though at times I consider myself a piece of shit because I piss so many people off.
Listen, I think everybody's a piece of shit. Like, this is my philosophy in life. Everyone is a piece of shit It's just the people that realize it and are trying to be a little bit less of a piece of shit than they were yesterday that are turning themselves into better people. But like off that philosophy shit, Kozlo is a monster. His last fight, dude, the way he was throwing those teep kicks to the body, he fights like a Diaz brother with better.
Yeah, he picks his shots.
I know.
He's so composed at all times. That's why I call him Itachi, bro.
Dude,
because there's nothing about him that is worried. And even when he's in a bad position, he's like, all right, I have to do this to get out of this.
He said something the other day on Facebook. He's like, I'm going to be the first 135
UFC champ and ADCC champ. And I was like, and I commented, I was like, I'm going to help you. Dude, I'm going to train with you. I'm going to fucking any one of my boys that wants to set a goal like that. Because I obviously want the same goal at ADCC. But if he's got the same goal, I'm going to help him. Yeah, dude, if he can get further than me, so be it.
I think,
and like I say,
I'll do both that shit.
Can we just talk about the finisher? I just want to give some shout out to that finishers event. Not just my team, but like that whole event. Dude, that whole event was just. Did anything really was anything boring to you? Not really so much. Everything was so high action. It was a really good match for Grace. Grace had a really good match with that. What was that one girl's name again?
I don't remember her name.
I forget her name. But it went into overtime and Grace took her out in overtime. And that was a good match. And then when it came to our matches, the way that the quintet rules are set up is there's no heel hooks. All right, we got 5 people on a team versus another team of 5 people. Was it 8-minute round or 6 minute?
I think it was 8-minute rounds.
8 minute, yeah. That's why I was fucking super tired in that second fight. But so the way it goes is with no heel hooks. If neither person submits the person, it goes to a draw and they're both eliminated. But if I submit somebody, the person I just submitted goes to the sideline and their second person comes up. They give me a minute break and then we go at it. And then, and so on and so forth. And it goes that way. So I submitted the first guy with, I believe, a knee bar, right? It was a knee bar?
I think so.
And
Darth Patella.
You're the one. You maintain that and remind me of the nickname.
Always.
I had to go with sober grappler to keep myself accountable and stuff. Yep. So, but I'll always still be Darth Patel. I should make a shirt like that.
Oh, I'll get you a shirt made. I'll get my designer to make one. I'll put it up on Nogi Nation today for you.
I just Darth Vader mask on Ace Ventura with a fucking spear in his knee, and he's like, it's something like that. I don't know. It just sounds stupid. But then Joey Lugo comes in.
Joey's a killer.
And they don't know about Joey Lugo. And finally, I'm going to explain who the Lugos are just briefly. There's 5 of them that train. No. There is 6 of them that train. Because now there's Sister Cheyenne, Chelsea, Joey, Michael, and Macho. And they all train at all different gyms and stuff like that. Oh, and Chelsea's boyfriend trains. Oh, and their cousin, Daniel Montos. So that's a family of jiu-jitsu. So you already know. And Joey's, in my opinion, is extremely well-rounded grappler. Yes. Wrestling, MMA, no gi, a leg locker, very well-rounded, will pass. Doesn't even have to attack your legs one bit during the round and still be kicking your ass. And, he dominated the guy who beat me and then went to a draw with the fourth guy on that, or third guy. And so then Aiden Collins came in. So Aiden Collins trains at Marcelo Pereira, and he's a little shit poster too, a little mean poster. He's that's a good guy to follow. But Aiden Collins, and he's more of a gi player, but he's really good in no gi as well.
He's gotten a lot better recently too.
Oh, absolutely. Because we're here in Florida, I don't know about other states, but here in Florida, we all like to fucking train with each other. We set up, train, where you at, bro? And we're if you're my size, there's probably 20 of us that are really, really good friends and will get together and train. So it's like a fucking utopia oasis down here. Fuck what you heard about Florida. We're the shit. But, so Aiden gets in there, and I think Aiden got a triangle armbar in the beginning, straight armbar from a triangle razor, and then toe holded the dude. So he had 2 submissions off the bat, and it's my boys Ruben Beard and Steven Cazzo are dude, we didn't get no match. So they're you can change the lineup once. So they allowed us to do that. So we put, Steven in the front and then Ruben, second. Yeah, that's the way it went. And so Steven came out the gate in the second round against Team Finishers, which is all these fucking ill-ass 10th Planet black belts. And, like, each one of them are fucking super dope. And, like, to be honest, like, if I wasn't with Gracie and my people, I'd be training with 10th Planet. Like, no joke. Because, like, all those 10th Planet dudes, like, I don't know really any 10th Planet people I don't like, that I don't get along with. And, like, I like Eddie Bravo. He's a really great guy, and he's done nothing but good things for the sport. And, like, all of his fucking black belts are just really good examples to, like, be black belts by. And they're all Nogi. Like, you know, B-Mac, good friend of mine, commentator. You just had him on. Yeah, dude, fucking amazing human being. I could go down a laundry list of one person who's, like, I don't know why, but, like, J.M. Holland, like, he's, like, the funniest guy to me for some reason. He's like, he just says shit, and I'm like, I'm like that chick off fucking Rob Dyrdek, like, I was like,
dude, so he says shit like not even trying to be funny. He says it in such a quiet, fucking stoic way, and then it's just fucking hilarious.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like an actor he resembles, and it's just like, and it's like sometimes it's like wise comedy, you know, like it needed to be said.
Yeah.
In a simplified way.
Bro, you remember we were sitting backstage at Jits Kings this last time around with all those 10th Planet guys? Like, that's some of the best times, you know, when we're all backstage at an event, like, everybody's competing, and then you get your guys coming in from the Northeast. Boogie was in there from San Diego, and it's just all good people. Like, we had John Combs in that locker room, Jared Anderson, like, all the DDS guys were keeping to themselves in the other room.
Yeah. Dude, at weigh-ins, you know, I was with John. You know, I went and picked him up, and we went over to Fight Sports. And I see Boogie and Ricky Lule, and I'm like, yo, what's up, dude? And like, I'm like, hey, John, because I talk to John a lot, and John is like fucking amazing human being too. That's how I fucking love jiu-jitsu and the people I've met.
Yeah, John stayed at my house for 2 weeks. Like, that guy's a fucking saint.
Yeah, he was training over there, coming over to Gracie Apollo Beach. And one thing that I love about him, that he's just like that, like the model black belt, is he will sit down and just, you could be a blue, purple, brown, black. And he's like, oh, okay, all right. Oh, that's amazing. Like, just like a total student to the game. You got some information to offer me? I'm all ears, even though they're fucking cauliflower to shit. But,
like, before we keep talking, like, I want to push John a little bit. Like, his leg game between, like, what he was doing up there with you guys down here with us, like, dude, his leg game went from, like an F to a B in like probably.
I couldn't fucking keep his legs. I mean, like when I first started like playing around with his legs, of course, you know, he's like, all right, what's this? I'd be able to get a catch here, and I'm not even going to say, oh man, I'm fucking tapping John, because I wasn't, because he was mauling me with choke after choke after choke. But once he started learning, they hurt so bad, because one concept we gave him was like, hey man, you're really good at guillotines. Consider the ankle, the neck. And guillotine the shit out of it. When he got that concept and applied it in the proper way, it became nightmarish.
His straight ankle's got serious breaking power behind it now. And like,
he's gonna break people with that shit.
Dude, listen, like that match he had with Taza, like I told him before, I'm like, look, like you know what to do. And Taza implemented a really good strategy of going through and capturing both legs in that pulse and guard position to stop the counters. But John escaped like 6 tight inside heel hooks on that.
And mind you, it's Oliver Taza, and I'm talking. I don't feel like I'm speaking out of pocket when I call him at least one of the top 10 leg lockers in the play.
Yes, 100%. And in my opinion, in a rematch that'll happen after this, I think John has a really solid chance of winning, because we saw what he did with like 3 weeks of learning leg lock defense and some of the counter offense. Just imagine if he had 6 months. John has the potential to be one of the best to ever do it.
You know what? I absolutely agree with you, because, and I'm saying this not because I'm saying, hey, oh my gosh, John is better, but watching his technique development and, you know, like the discipline, you'll see. Yeah. But at the same time, you know, like this game is such a high level, and that's why I like seeing people fix their game. But I wouldn't be surprised if you saw John Combs leg lock elite leg lockers in the future, and that's all I'll say about that.
I agree.
Elite leg lockers in the future with some simple leg locks, ones you won't see people get it caught in. that they're not supposed to.
And listen, I'm not trying to blow you up too much, but like you got one of the best brains for leg locks, man. Like especially your outside ashi and your 50-50 stuff. Like especially in the last 2 years, I feel like you transitioned really well from being like a competitor and doing things well on the competition scene to really breaking down why that shit works and being able to put that information out in an instruction setting in a very efficient manner.
Well, I'd like to give a big shout out to Krishna Marash. He trains like Texel and Red Dragon over there in New York and stuff. Trains with like Eddie Cummings, Calistine. So I think he's like under Matt Serra. He's a Matt Serra black belt. You're familiar with him, right?
Yep.
That is the person that like I will message randomly about leg lock philosophy. And he is the biggest mentor to me leg lock wise. As far as technique that I've learned, I give all the credit to Ian Murray. Like 90% of my credit of leg lock development is for Ian Murray. And if you don't know who Ian Murray is, 3 or 4 years ago you did.
Yeah.
He's recovering from a bad leg injury, and he's been coaching a lot lately and hasn't been able to really compete. But like if he was able to recover well and get back into training, I'd love to be training by his side because that's one of the illest to train with. Because and his pace. But like Krishna, just watching, I started following him on Instagram because the flow that he does for his technique flows and his development of the characters of his techniques and stuff like that is so, the details are so tedious and minute that he breaks down. So, I mean, like one time I think he just kind of like said something to me in like a comment about like maybe sobriety or like me liking cats. And like, I was like, oh my God. And like, I fanboy no matter who you are. If I look up to you, I don't give a fuck. Like I try to keep it together. You know, like when I was the little, do you remember the picture the weird picture I took with who was it? Curtis Blades? And fucking, that was Brazzers. And then I walked up to Tex Johnson and held my hand out and said, "Hi, my name's Sober Grappler." By the way, and he's like, "Wait, what? What the fuck?" Or I walked up to Buchecha the first time I ever met him, and I was like, "Hi, Buchecha. May I have a moment of your time to explain the dark power of my Lord Satan to you?" And he almost fucking tore my head off. It's just like, I'm just a shithead. But like, to digress, Krishna, I reached out to him and like he would like kind of say some things and like give me congrats, and I eventually started speaking with him and sending him technique videos, and he.
Oh shit! Where the hell did Spencer go? God damn it! I bet you know what it is. I'm 100% sure his phone died. So I'm gonna go ahead and kill some time, and we'll let him get his phone back up. And we'll bring him back in here. But yeah, dude, Spencer's got some of the craziest stories. I'm texting him now, make sure he's okay. Dude, Spencer is literally one of the craziest guys I know, but one of the best dudes. And it makes me so happy to see how he's transitioned from complete shithead. There he is. All right, he's back.
I don't know what happened.
Go ahead.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, so I started messaging him, and he pulls no punches. He's a nice guy and I consider him a friend, but when it comes to asking him technique, he gives it to me honest. Like when I had my match with Ethan Krellinston, he gave me really good advice and said there was a point in that match where you went from being a fighter to a spectator in your own match. Ooh. And I was like, so it's really helped me keep my mindset in the game after that. You know, I've been a little bit more winning since. And then Jordan Hawley, a really good friend ever since combat. I've always kind of followed him and fanboyed him and take from him his videos. And it was just really nice to meet him finally and just have fucking fellowship with him and hang out, meet his wife, talk about life.
Awesome. I love her.
Yeah. No, they're such amazing people. If I like you, like I got nothing but awesome things to say about you. So like he was great. And so like he told me something, he's like, "Yo, dude, just don't expect shit. Empty your mind and just go out there." He's like, "You know what? Like honestly, you're just making a whole lot of issues for yourself if you start thinking scenarios and stuff. He's like, you're going to go out there, you're going to slap hands, you're going to bump fists. You've been training for however many years you've been training. You're ready for this. You're going to know what to do. You don't need to think about it. You train. Training means you don't need to think about it. You can do it. And so I was like, all right. So I'm just back there and backstage, hitting my vape, fucking staying calm. And like, I didn't have really much of any panic by staying in that mindset and stuff. And I went out there and I was just really fortunate to come home with the win because I was taking some serious shots to the face. But like when it comes to that match, like I want to talk about that a little bit. It's like my combat jiu-jitsu match. It's awesome to be on that. Eddie told me, he's like, I can always hit you up and know that, boom, you're coming. You can say that. Anybody that knows me will say, like, if I say I can't do it or something, trust me, there's a good reason why I'm not doing it. I'm not 100%. Pussing out. I'm not backing out. I've really showed up to tournaments injured because I don't want to back out, and I really didn't have a good enough reason, and my injury felt all right, so I still showed up. So, like, if anybody ever thinks that I've ever backed out of something because I'm a pussy, they've got it fucking wrong.
And to echo that before you get into your combat jiu-jitsu stuff, I remember having conversations with you where I had to try to get you not to compete, like you're such a psycho when it comes to that stuff. Hey, do you have me on an echo?
No.
All right, whatever. I'll try to fix this. Anyways, you're such a fucking psychopath that like you will compete with horrible injury and you need somebody to be back.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's psychopathic, I guess. Disregard to human life.
All right, so combat jiu-jitsu.
So it's just like, I like, for some reason, like, there's just like, I really wanted to get on it, like, and like, talk about like, like I prayed to God. I was like I really, oh man, combat jiu-jitsu. And I have Eddie's number. I will text Eddie. I don't chat with Eddie like that, but like I will text him like something very quick. And Eddie is very direct as well, because I can assume, if it's business, he's a very busy person. And he will give me a direct answer. And usually I'm like, yo, Eddie, you got this tournament coming up? I'm down. Just let me know. I know you got your people, but I'm down. And like, he goes, he'll be like, all right, I got you. I'll let you know. Like, that's him saying, like, if something happens, I'll let you know. And so it's like 3 weeks right before the tournament. I'm like, hey, Eddie, I'm still here. I'm just letting you know. I'm ready. So he's like, all right, I'll let you know. And it's not annoying, He does it. I mean, maybe it is. Who knows? But he still lets me on. Yeah. So, and so then it's like 2 weeks. Oh no, I hit him up at that 3 weeks, and a week out, he goes, I may or may not have an opening for you if you're down for a special match. And I was like, say no more. I was like, my next text message was, my bags are packed. And they were. I packed my bags immediately, put them by the door, and I was like, I'm not taking that from the door. That's staying there, and I am getting on that plane and going to Combat Jiu-Jitsu Worlds. I'm going to redeem myself of the loss. And then I didn't hear anything, and I was like, for sure, are you sure? And then they're like, all right, it's J.M. Holland. And I mean, like, he's my boy. But, like, at the same time, I'll go against all my boys. Like, it's not, like, a hard feeling, you know what I mean? Like, I want to, like, win, and I had a loss against him. I know he wanted to run it back, and I wanted to run it back. So this is, like, absolutely no hard feelings. So I hope nobody thought that, like, the fact that I like Jam or say anything that I had any ill intentions towards him going into the match. And he had a fucking wicked heel hook on me that I've fallen victim of in that same scenario multiple times because I've left my legs dangling right there. In fact, Ethan Krellinston caught me. Yeah. And it wasn't even an actual heel hook. It was more of an ankle popping, and that was on my right ankle. And, going into that match with JM, my right ankle was all fucked up. And, well, I left that with a fucked up left ankle. My right ankle became a good ankle, and I should have tapped. I really should have. But like when you're in like a scenario like that grit, I kid you not. Like I was like, fuck no, I'll wait until I was like, I know, like me and Ian, this is something Ian and I used to do. We used to judge grades of tears that we were hearing in our limbs. Like this is like this pop, this decibel is surgery, and this pop and this decibel feeling is bad injury for a while. You know, like, and it was like just on the verge of, he just started like kind of easing up right when it was becoming very, very dangerous. And of course I was getting to a point where I don't know, but I still had like I said, I was 0-1 against Jam, and I was 0-1 against in Combat Jiu-Jitsu Worlds. And I was like, I do not want to leave here on 2. I don't want to leave here on 2. And then when I got the win, and I put my hands on my face, the only thought I had was like, that's going to hurt. It doesn't hurt right now. That's going to hurt. And I can only imagine how many of my good friends right now are going, and I was like about to cry a little bit, you know, but then I had to get up and I had to show off the IBJJF rash grip, because you hooked it up. You really helped me out on my trip and stuff. I really appreciate that. You have always been a help for me. And I had to throw the middle fingers up too, because fuck the IBJJF, which I plan on competing in the IBJJF hopefully in the future, just to show that, you know, I can talk shit. Can't talk shit if I'm not competing in the IBJJF, right?
I guess, man. Here, I'm muting you for 1 second just because try putting your headphones back in, because there is an echo going on for the people over there. So like unplug your headphones and put them back in. And I'm going to unmute you when I ask this question right here. So actually, let's see if that worked. Did that work?
How is that? Better?
So much better. Perfect. So fuck, now I lost my train of thought.
You're going to ask me a question.
Oh yeah. So like you were talking about some of these matches, you kind of have like a feeling that it's going to be something, I don't want to say goes down in history, but it's a monumental one, and you're willing to let some injury happen, you know? And it's not always the
risk first reward.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like sometimes it's just like financial. Sometimes it's more of a
financial.
Yeah.
It was finance. I was like, I need this money. The 100% reason was actually, I need this money. Yeah. I need this money. Like I knew that the pandemic was going to kind of go in the way that it went. And I was like, I'm going to not be able to do jiu-jitsu in a little bit and teach private lessons. So I need to get this money. So this was like a fucking quick hustle. Like whether I win or lose, I was going to get paid. But it was more if I win. And like in my head, the math was win or fuck you and die. You know what I mean? Like,
and dude, sometimes like people don't realize, but like it's not the immediate money from the match. Like, yes, that is helpful, but it's the ability to market yourself off of that and build that momentum that really, that's the real prize from winning these matches, you know, plus the memories. Like how special is it to you having that fucking photo of you standing on the Combat Jiu-Jitsu World stage, middle fingers in the air, just like taking in the moment.
It's priceless, man. It's super. It was the just that trip was. I went out there and I was like, dog, my weight. This is 145, and I was weighing like 137, 139, because I was like really staying low for some reason. I was trying to like get ready for like something lower, and like when that came up, I was like, dog, I don't even got a cut. I'm gonna eat like shit, like in front of everybody, and be like, look at me. And I went to dispensaries. Like as soon as I'm gonna put some people on fucking blast. Yeah, and maybe they're even watching too, or they'll watch later. But like Jordan Holly's people, as soon as I got off a plane, I was talking with him on the way there and shit. And like I'm like, yo, where you at, dog? Let's get something to eat. Let's hang out. And he's like, I don't smoke or nothing. I'm on probation, you know, of course. And so it's just like, all right. And he's like, and so like his two boys, they train, but they're skivvy ass stoners too. They're just like me. And so yeah, bro, where'd you go? I was like, I went to MedMen, the closest like dispensary to the Marriott. Yeah. And so I'm like, yeah, I went to MedMen. And they're like, that's expensive. How much did you spend? I was like, not what I wanted to spend, but I'm like, come with us. We're going to the hood. And I was like, ooh, the hood. So we're going to get some good shit. And so like, and fucking, so they take me to Inglewood. Inglewood.
I think I went to the same one when I was out there.
High spot. It's like in the like cut.
Oh yeah,
it's like
in the hood.
Yeah, but like the hood, it's not like, oh my god, I'm gonna get shot. But you're like, yeah, this is the hood. Like, you know the movie The Wood, like that dude. The high school was right across the street, like right over there. Like, and so like they take me in there. It's like in a basement kind of. They got security guards. Security guards are like, "What's up, dude? What's going on?" And like they're big dudes. Everybody going in there stoners and like peaceful. And like everybody's like, "Hey, how you doing? First time, never seen you." Just like super cool. And like they had all these jars of awesome. And like these dudes, like they were with Jordan Hawley, were like, "Feast your eyes on wall." And I was just like, yeah. And I'm gonna get into an even funnier story. I'm gonna put someone else on blast. I don't give a fuck if I put them on blast. Actually, I won't put them on blast. So like, you know, I was like, cool, I got that weed. So like, yeah, this is part of my trip. And so like later, you know, like after the match, a couple of us go get some food. And I'm like, man, we got to go get, you know, like you got to stock up because, you know, you're flying out tomorrow, be able to get some edibles because you're going to take them on the plane. And so we're like, yeah. Fucking, so Zach, oh shit. I already said his name. I need some edibles. I got to get on the plane. I got to go to sleep. And so Zach I take him, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to take you to the spot my boy fucking Telfer took me to, and his boy fucking took me to. I forget his name already, man. Fuck, I got him on Instagram. But he was cool as shit too. And so I'm in the dispensary with Zach, and we're like looking around, and I get like some GDP, Granddaddy Perk, and some other stuff, and some edibles. And I'm looking down in like the little case with Zach, and like, you know, I'm down, crouched down, and in come those dudes that brought me in there, and we're like one of those, hey, in the middle of California, you're here too? Yeah, had to stop back in here. It's just like the whole fucking like not one part of that thing was like shitty, like stressful or anything. I was like, yeah, I'm going back to Cali. And I ate a bunch of edibles, got on the plane, fucking piped out, got back. And I was just like, that was fucking awesome. 48-hour notice too, by the way, 48-hour notice. And if I could give a huge shout out, the biggest mind behind Combat Jiu-Jitsu Worlds and EBI is, if you don't know Megan Parduccio, you don't know shit about EBI or Combat Jiu-Jitsu Worlds, because that's the motherfucking glue to that shit.
She's like the Missy of EBI.
She is, yeah, absolutely. And she was talking to me about like getting a gig over at Invicta FC, hopefully. Yeah, so that would be pretty dope to see that. Mm-hmm. She does,
dude. Like, I don't know. Cool. So I'll ask you this after, but anytime I go to an EBI or a Combat Jiu-Jitsu Worlds, like it is literally the biggest fucking. Like, I've never had a bad time. You know, I've been to like probably 4 or 5 of them at this point. And like even my worst experience, like I flew out there to Coach Werther when he got on there, and I was teaching a seminar in Texas the day before and all that stuff, and I got way too fucked up, had a panic attack on the plane. But the minute I get to California, the minute I get around, just
you smell weed as soon as you get off the fucking plane. It's like that is like legit. It's legit. It's like, whoa, I'm fresh off LAX, smell like weed,
But dude, there's just something about it that like, and you were in the Orpheum. I never got to go to the ones in the Orpheum, but like, dude, there's something about the energy, even when the crowd isn't huge, that you're just like, wow, this is it. And Eddie's really done something cool there, and the vibe of the events is something that I really strive to be able to do. And I don't even know if I'll ever be able to do it just because I'm not in California, you know.
Did you go to Thunder Studios in Long Beach?
Yeah, I went to. So
that's where the first one I did. Yeah,
I did Thunder Studios, and then they did it a spot in like this Mexican cowboy bar in El Monte for a while. It was right after they switched off of the Orpheum.
Yeah, like so that Thunder Studios, like, it is not the greatest event. I will say that it's not the greatest event, but you're right. You're at Combat Jiu-Jitsu Worlds, baby, and the energy is just that. And so when I'm standing on the side of the fucking And I'm with my boy Zachariah Jones. I don't know if you ever seen me tag him along. He's a blue belt.
Yep.
Should be a purple belt here soon. Trust me. Once all this shit's over, the kid, like my little leg locking protege, if I could give him. Yeah, and he's up in Wisconsin. Yeah, he's my Gage. Except he's not dumb and he's smarter. Yeah, Gage is like a fucking moron and sets himself up. But I love Gage. It's the best thing. He just got married.
I know. Oh my God. All right, let's talk about
good for him.
He's batting above his average. Good for him. You know, and I mean I am too, so good for him.
Hey Gage. But
go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No.
Fine. I'll go ahead, Spencer. Cool. Is that like the highlight of your jiu-jitsu career there? Is that the best moment you had?
Yeah. I mean, like I've always like here's why it all like it, and this is the factors that mix into it. It's not just because it was that time. It's everything that played up to it. I'm sober. I wanted that win. I was going through a lot of shit, like kind of like dealing with like bullshit with going back and forth between two girls, which honestly is my fault. I'm a piece of shit. At this point in time, I'm normally not the villain in the relationship story, to be honest, but like going back and forth between them and doing that, like one was kind of like knowing what's going on, and the other, like I hid it from her, and like I'm a piece of shit. Like there's no way I could really apologize in person except for like doing the next chick right. You know what I mean? And not doing that. I've never been like a cheater or anything, not to just like go into the goop of relationship. But like, you know, I was like backstage at Combat Jiu-Jitsu World, and like I had something told to me by, you know, that girl that empowered me. And I wasn't in a bad state of mind. I was uplifted, you know, but like I was still like stressed and juggling that. But this time I was like, I'm fucking free as a bird, single, like, you know, like I'm not really like putting myself in a position to accept negativity in my life. It's outside of like the random rambunctiousness I create over social media. I'm normally a really great person to the people I know. I'm actually not a shitty person. And I'm very dependable. You hit me up and you're like, I need you. Can you do this? And I'm like, I got you. And and I'll show up and I'll do it. And I'll be 15 minutes early. I won't even be late, you know, like, and that's the thing. That's how I roll. But, you know, like going up to it, like, I'm like, fuck, I lost the first time. So boom, there. You know, it was at the Orpheum. Boom. Now I was like, the moment I saw the first EBIs, I was like, in my head, like, even though ADCC, like feet wise and on paper is the real, like, GOAT, like the real World Series, all that. But in my mind as a sub only grappler, EBI was where I wanted to be. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, EBI was like, EBI was Pride, and ADCC was UFC. You know what I'm saying? Like, where you're like, I want to go to Pride, where like the real rambunctiousness is.
Dude,
and so,
100%. I couldn't like say that ain't better.
Yeah, and like, there's nothing wrong with either one, because you're gonna get some really good like showing and grappling from both. But like, just like I was like, EBI, that's what I want to be on. Watching Denny Prokopos compete on that, and like I cool, like that's one of my Greek brothers. He gave one of my really good close friends, Michael Hillebrand, his black belt, who owns 10th Planet Oakland. So like just like watching him compete, and I was like literally like what got me into jiu-jitsu, like a big aspect that got me into jiu-jitsu was like I was already kind of training it and fond of it, and like my girlfriend at the time worked at Walgreens, and they had Jiu-Jitsu magazine there in Walgreens, and it's the second edition. It had Eddie Bravo on the front doing a double lotus, and I had heard the name from a friend. He was like, yo, you and your brother remind me of Eddie Bravo. And I was just like, oh, who's that? And he's like, he's crazy, man. He's like into all these crazy conspiracies and stuff. And I was just like, oh, really? Like, and so I didn't dig into him too much, but I saw that magazine, saw the name, and was like, whoa, flexibility, double lotus, and dove into trying to do some 10th Planet shit. Got made fun of for doing it by other like people who did jiu-jitsu, because they were like, 10th Planet's stupid. And then look at it now. You know what I mean? And then I was like, I want to research Eddie Bravo, of course, like doing the whole YouTube research. And and like, whoa, who's Denny Prokopos and fucking Einstein, fucking Scott Epstein didn't kill himself, but and like just all these guys, and like Vinny Magalesh went over there, so it's just like, what, like these dudes are dope. And so like just to be on that and like meet him and like be like kind of like say like I'm not exactly like Eddie, but like I'm like a lot of people who know Eddie and know me are like, yeah, you guys are kind of like in the same boat. Yeah. You know, like a personality wise, the way you rant and don't shut up and fucking just like you're married to your, because we're passionate people. I think I relate with Eddie in the fact that if he believes something, he's passionate about it and he's married to that until you can prove him otherwise. And it's going to take an overwhelming amount of evidence to prove that. Look into it.
Yeah, dude. Like EBI has always been for me. Like, yes, ADCC is definitely the pinnacle, but it was probably like a year ago because I don't think I'd opened the gym yet. A little bit more than that, but Eddie told me I had a spot the next 205 EBI, and then he went full combat jiu-jitsu worlds and never did that weight class. But just hearing the fact that I got the spot, like that was like, damn, I finally fucking made it. You know, like I always cared about ADCC, but when EBI happened, especially the first 10 EBIs, I was like, holy shit, this is what jiu-jitsu should be, you know? So yeah, it's super fucking cool. But you were just talking about some conspiracy theories and Eddie and shit like that. Do you want to get into some conspiracies?
Yeah, do you want to ask me about ones? There's only like two you already know not to talk about.
Yeah. Which one do you want to talk about?
All right, so I mean a little jab at Sonny, and Sonny and I had a conversation a long time ago about 9/11, and so I'm fucking ready actually to have a debate with him, and I'm well versed and studied in the matter, and the fact that right around the time that this coronavirus thing was happening, and a lot of people were aware of this because a lot of people are waking up at this point in time. Because it's just like how much of a shit show things have turned out to be. Hey, man, should we stay inside? Should we go outside? Should we wear a mask? No, we shouldn't wear a mask. You should do this only if you're going to die, or, you know, like maybe that's going to kill you, and like you shouldn't take this, or you should take this, or hey, everybody, wait for a vaccine. Hold on 1 second, zipping my pants up. I was just peeing. So,
This is a first for the show. Somebody taking a piss while we're live.
But I'm washing my hands.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you're washing your hands. I don't think anybody would ever do this except for you. And this is one of the reasons.
Look, Whispering Woods Febreze, you should really consider trying this out. It's an amazing fragrance. It's really good.
So I'm gonna preface all your conspiracy theory stuff that you are basically the Alex Jones of this podcast. All right, so
yeah, but I'm a little bit more sane. I think Alex Jones is a Zionist shill who's fucking kind of like spreading misinformation, just like he used to be legit. But nah.
Yeah, recently he's gotten a little more off the deep end. So I'm going to preface with whatever Spencer says are the opinions of Spencer only, not his employers, not his gyms, not myself.
Yeah.
Not himself.
And trust me, Aaron and Lewis and everybody that knows me, including Rob Kahn, who disagrees with me on a lot of things, but I love Rob Kahn to death. He's a great human being.
And I think it's important to have differing opinions, and have someone like you that has your thoughts.
Dude, a lot of people are fucking going to disagree with me. Like I have 3 very, very close friends like that. Like one in particular is you've seen me go fucking neck to the neck with Josh Shilney on Facebook. Yes. Like you fucking but dude, that's one of my best friends.
Yes.
Yeah, we're like, dude, it's like, dude, you're a fucking boring piece of shit. I can't believe that you think this and stuff. And then we're like, hey, you want to get acai? Yeah, for sure, bro. Let's go roll. And like we'll hang out. We're like, haha, because we don't talk politics in person. We really kind of just like keep it jiu-jitsu. But like social media is like drawing us the negativity out of us and whatnot. But yeah, people have differing opinions. But yeah, I want to get into this. Like during the time that the coronavirus was starting to get into the media, and there's so many rabbit holes that we could fall down here in this topic, but I'm not. I'll leave it to the boys over at Zombie Sheep, But around this time that the coronavirus was becoming a pandemic in the world, global pandemic, University of Alaska Fairbanks released their study that they've been doing for almost a decade, for the better part of one, on Tower 7. All right. Now, the Tower 7 is like pinnacle to the fact that this was maybe an inside job and nefariousness, because their original narrative, according to the National Institute of, I forget what it was. Like, there was an official report that was put out in like 2006 or 2010. I'm not exactly sure, but that was supposed to be the official narrative. And it was structural fires that caused the building 7 to collapse. And then there's some weird video of Larry Silverstein, which I'm going to get into that in a second. Larry Silverstein was the owner of the lease of the World Trade Center. And in interviews, like, yeah, blah, blah. And so then we told them to pull the building, which pulling the building is a demolition term. And any person that is in demolition for buildings or any kind of demolition, they know that that term is pulled. So you don't just say, we'll pull the building and like that was happenstance, or like, yeah, I know you're probably talking to someone who's like, fuck this guy.
No, Sonny just commented. He's like, here we go.
Yeah, but no, everything right here is actually now backed with science by a university of engineered professors who.
We got to have you and Sonny on together at one point, because I know you guys are supposed to do that at one point. So anyways, he said pull the building. So that in itself, and all of this is no reason to actually say, hey, this is an inside job. But when it boils down to the science of it, now you can so, well, why did he say pull the building? If the building didn't collapse due to a structural fire and it was a controlled demolition, what measures did they go through to make that possible, and why? And did they know that maybe the buildings were going to be struck by planes or whatever they were? You know what I mean? Nobody really has video of Tower 1 being hit. There is a slight video that is like happened to be of like some cops reporting, and when you see it, I'm not going to sit here and go nutbag and go, it was a missile. But when you see it, you know, it could have been a plane, could have been a missile. It happened too quick. It's a plane. It's flying. But then the video quality back then isn't as great either.
And then that day, you have to ask yourself the two other suspicious events that happened that day. Not suspicious, but events like Flight 93. And I've argued with people about this where they're like, I know somebody that everybody somehow, like I've met like easily 2,000 people who've said, I know somebody that died on Flight 93. You know, they were on the phone with their loved ones. And I'm like, hold on. So you're telling me that I have a Galaxy S10 Plus and I can't make a phone call on a plane because of the science of how fast it moves. Now, yeah, you could probably catch a signal here or there. And if you had Wi-Fi on the plane, which we didn't even have Wi-Fi in 2001, and if you had Wi-Fi on the plane, then someone said, well, you could make calls from the plane. But the way that the science goes actually on this is you have to be triangulated with cell phone towers to catch a signal, maintain a signal, and be able to keep a call. So you're telling me those thick-ass indestructible Nokias back then were able to maintain, because you remember those cell phones, you stepped a little too far to the right and you lost the phone call because you couldn't keep it. You're telling me that those phones were able to maintain a phone call going 700 miles down into the ground, you know, like free fall, like we're going to the ground, bitches. Like that's not how that works. And then there's multiple witnesses in that area of Pennsylvania that saw not a plane go down into the ground, but what they saw was an absolute missile go into the ground, or what looked like a plane-like missile. But if you look at the wreckage and you look at every single other wreckage from a plane, there is so much debris left over. There was only a black spot on the earth. There wasn't anything, and there's things scattered that they said that were a part of that. And then you had the Pentagon. The Pentagon was supposedly hit by a plane. They say they have footage, but somehow they never released it. You know, like, and somehow because if they have footage, it would clearly show a plane. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like they didn't ever show footage because it doesn't show a fucking plane. Because there's plenty of people who said that, like, plenty of people, eyewitness, that's another thing. Eyewitness only matters when you can boil actual hard evidence and science down into it.
So just, What was the study that you said from Fairbanks?
Fairbanks just released a study on WTC, World Trade Center Building 7, that the building, they literally, all the study was to find out, wasn't to find out what caused it, but it collapsed to a structural fire, which the media and the government struggled so hard to make sure that that was the official narrative. And you have to ask yourself, why would you struggle so hard to make sure that the official narrative of something was something that wasn't true or not really possible? You know what I'm saying? Not getting into the World Trade Centers, the building 1, building 2. And when you get, the thing is like, wait, conspiracy theory is a term that was created by the CIA to mock people. No, it was created by the CIA to mock people who
can't wait for this to get clipped up and somebody to put you next to fucking Alex Jones. The CIA!
Yeah, the CIA. Yeah, no, but it was created by the CIA to condemn the people who to condemn the people who believed in the Kennedy assassination. You know what I'm saying? So if you wanted to discredit people that had, and I'm not saying, hey man, conspiracies are real, man, because some are just really batshit crazy, and like for me to say that, I would hope that holds some kind of weight, like, and I really just think, I'm not a fan of Alex Jones. I think Alex Jones is a shill. I think that at one point he used to be a legit conspiracy theorist that was not about selling dick pills and talking about gay frogs and stuff. But the problem with these conspiracies, like they created the term conspiracy theorist. That's just like saying racist or like that. Like it's a word that's used to smear someone and make them seem uncredible. Like, oh, don't listen to that guy. He's a conspiracy theorist. And it's like, but wait, like this guy, he makes a good point. And then what they'll use in conspiracy theories is, because the problem is conspiracy theorists are not, like 3,000 people just died or something. And they're like, you don't care about the people who died. And it's like, yeah, that's why I'm fucking pissed. Why would our government do that? Why would they align themselves with Mossad? And when I say our government, I don't mean every single. People think that it was Bush, and that it was Cheney had more of a hand in it than Bush.
Let's be fair about what Bush is. Bush was the puppet, and he wasn't.
Bush is a total. He didn't want to be a president, dude. Look at that guy. He's painting. Yeah. He's an amazing painter. He just wanted to be like a regular guy, and his dad happened to be the fucking head honcho of the fucking cabal. So. And like he was born into that shit. Oh, daddy. Oh, daddy.
All right. I'm not like, I don't really have any counterpoints because I'm not in as deep as you, but the things I wouldn't classify myself as a conspiracy theorist. I would classify myself as wary
skeptic
of the government, skeptic and wary of the government, and the things that really, at least with 9/11, the things that really trigger me to be like, oh, okay, this is weird timing is one, wasn't there a giant insurance claim or insurance thing that was filed on the World Trade Center a little bit before this? And,
yeah, so go on.
And the money that was lost by the Pentagon or the Treasury, like that press conference was like the day before. That's the stuff in my mind that is like red flags, and for me, 9/11 is horrible. Like I don't go one way or another on the conspiracy theories of it. I think the government tends to take tragedies and use them as ways to further their agenda, cover things up, and honestly, like the shit that's going on now,
to pass laws like the Patriot Act.
Yeah, exactly. So,
which gets renewed every year. It's like what? Not every year, but every cycle that it goes up for renewal.
Yeah, so I'm not under the opinion that the government orchestrated 9/11 to do whatever they wanted to do. I think the government takes these tragedies and then uses it to spin their agenda, much like the media now is using all these tragedies to spin their narrative and their agenda.
So 9/10, day before 9/11, Donald Rumsfeld, Secretary of Defense, or was was he Secretary of Defense? Yeah, right. Not of State. I don't think he was Secretary of State. No, he was Secretary. He was Secretary of State because Secretary of Defense was Colin Powell. Yeah. And so, so the day before, Donald Rumsfeld was in the Pentagon. He's like, "Oh, we lost what? Gay boys?"
Don't worry, I'm just putting
so he was like, "Yeah, we lost $2.6 trillion," and before people could go get up in arms about it, boom, our towers were attacked. And another thing, the insurance policy. Larry Silverstein, that asshole, the insurance fraud champ of the world, fucking pulled out, I believe it was only weeks prior that he pulled out an insurance policy on the trade centers that had gnarly asbestos that was just, they had to really renovate the entire World Trade Center. Like, it's like there was more money. It was a rotting building that was just not in the shape that it needed to be in. And so he took over the lease for super cheap, pulled out a fucking insurance policy on it that was a $2 billion, I believe. And since it covered terrorist attacks, coincidentally, he sued his insurance company, or his lawyers sued the insurance company because 2 towers went down. And they tried to get $6 billion out of the insurance company, but got 4.6 or 4.6 billion. And so, and then for some reason, Larry Silverstein was like, "Oh, I was on my way out the door to go to the office that morning," which was in the World Trade Center. And he's like, and then my wife was like, "Oh, you got to go to the dermatologist this morning." He says, "Oh, okay." And so he missed it because he went to the dermatologist. Oh God. Like, how convenient. I'm so blessed. And like, and then this is actually the biggest thing that made me go, what the fuck, was 5 dancing Israeli nationals. As you can Google this, they don't want you to know about this. But
hold it up, Jamie.
Yeah, the 5 dancing Israeli nationals were filmed, and the police were called on them. And the lady took pictures of them and stuff, and they were taking pictures as well and celebrating the Twin Towers going down. Now, why would our greatest ally, Israel, their nationals, who happen to be two or three of them members of Mossad, secret service that they have over there, their CIA, why would they be celebrating such a tragic event of their greatest ally in their biggest city? You know, why? How? Why? What was their purpose? And how come 17 out of 19 of the hijackers were Saudi Arabia, which is another one of our allies out there, another country we didn't invade? 17 out of 19 of those hijackers supposedly were Saudi nationals, and that is our ally. But we invaded Iraq and Afghanistan and all these other countries that happen to be enemies of Saudi Arabia and Israel. You know, so we just did like a nice little expansion project for them, you know, by going out there and getting public support to create an illegal war and spend and funnel trillions of dollars through black budget. There's so much to gain here. Like, you know what I mean? Like the military industrial complex, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, the Koch brothers, like these dudes are fucking wrecking. The Carlyle Group, research them. That's Dick Cheney's involvement, and the Bushes are involved in the Carlyle Group, and they're like a group that has involvement in energy sectors. You know, so here we arrested 5 dancing Israelis in a van filled with explosives and firearms, and each of them had like $3,000 cash on them. And on that van, because they were supposedly working for a moving company, and this is all fact, and you can research it on your own and find out about it on your own.
I'm looking at the article right now. It's on NBC News.
Yeah, it's like a legit article. It's something that we heard about it, but they fucking kept that down. They put that down. They arrested a bunch of them. And so when they arrested them, on the side of the van, there was the Twin Towers and one of them being hit by a plane. And it's like, yeah, it's like overkill. Like, to hear that, you're like, wait, what? And so you're going, all right, so why would they do that? And it's not to say that they they were the ones who did what they did, but like there's some people with a lot of money that want more money, and they need to have more control, and they don't like the fact that certain people are getting powerful, which I get it. I don't blame. That's the way that politics and fucking geopolitics works. People invade and fucking take people out. It's more of subversion now. Just like almost as if like what they call like the three, what the 3 stars on the flag of Washington DC stands for? They have their own constitution too, right? In Washington DC. No, that's actually a fact too. The Act of 1871, where we turned the United States of America from an actual sovereign republic nation to the United States, just the United States, which is a corporation. And, we function under corporate law. When everybody was giving out birth certificates, social security numbers, we have literally been living in slavery for every single American. They're like, yeah, we're going to free the slaves, but everybody's going to be a slave. And we'll make them think they're free. And then we'll tell them that, this side hates them for their color, and this side hates them for their color. It's a fucking perfect plan. And we'll create this money that's based on debt and not on anything of value. And we'll make them fucking kill each other over it.
So I'm glad you brought that up, because that's something right now that's really fucking puzzling to me, because just with all the printing that's going on, and you remember when people, like you just said, 2.6 trillion was lost before 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
We just fucking like printed like $3 trillion worth of shit. And of the stimulus bill, only 390 billion went towards small businesses. Like a lot of it went to like different crazy shit. I'm really worried about the fact that our money is not based on anything. It's based on it's worthless. It's fucking paper.
I can simplify it for anybody that needs to understand. So if anybody has ever watched The Matrix, now think of it this way. No, seriously, it's a really good way to look at it. There is a reality outside of The Matrix, and it's not pretty. It's been taken over. You know what I'm saying? So in that reality, you can actually create money if you wanted to, because you can create it. And you can make something with a tangible good and value to it, like a tangible value to it. You know what I'm saying? Like where, hey, I can exchange this and this guy will see value in it as I do. But in the Matrix, you make the rules. That is the Federal Reserve. They make the rules. They're like, hey, we gave them exclusive rights to print money and loan it to the U.S. Treasury at a interest, which is usury, which is fucking illegal. It's immoral. And usury is people are like, well, it's not that bad, and interest and stuff like that. And it's like, no, hold on. Usury is creating $200 trillion of debt, but only having $90 trillion of actual hard cash to spend. You'll never be able to pay the debt off. You've created a system where you always have control and forcing people into constant states of debt. Yes, people are able to pay off their debt. It happens. I'm not saying that doesn't happen. I'm saying, but the debt as a whole,
we fucking lost him again. Oh, Jesus Christ. I hope he comes back on, because this is, I'm sure this is entertaining for you guys as it is for me. Again, fact check, do your own facts. Here he comes again. Look at your own facts.
Huh? My facts?
Nothing. No. I said I'm telling the people, go ahead, go through, look at these facts, and make your own decision. Hey, take that.
Yeah. No.
1 sec. I'm muting real quick because there's an echo. Take your headphones in and out again, and then you'll be good to go. Yeah, plug it right back in. Boom. And you should be good to go. All right, go ahead.
Better? Is that better?
Way better. Go for it.
So, so picture that. That's the Federal Reserve. That's what central banks are like. That's the way that they work. And I could get deep into it, but it's too deep. It really too deep. It goes so far back to the bank. I could boil it down. All right, that's what I was gonna say. There's 3 stars on the flag of DC, and they represent 3 things. They represent America, DC, the military powerhouse. They represent London, the Bank of London, the financial institute of the powerhouse, and they represent the Vatican. and the Vatican is the religious sector of that powerhouse. So it's a triune kind of like system of control. Now, in no way does that mean Christians are that way, but the Vatican, yes, is a part of a system of control. It's been infiltrated by the Jesuits, which that's, do your own research on that. They have something that's called the actual Black Pope, which is the Jesuit Pope, the one guy that wears black and walks around with the Pope. And so that's what those 3 stars stand for. And so, like, if you think for 1 second that you are free and you have a birth certificate, you aren't broken away from a system that's not like that, and you don't have your own power, like, you are not, like, no matter what, this is not a constitutional republic like we think it is. And I have reason to believe, outside of getting into politics, I have reason to believe that Trump is going to restore that. And that's why I have faith. I don't have faith in him because I'm this bigot who wants a wall, even though I would like a wall. They work, walls work. But I think after this, if we could actually make this country into a constitutional republic and have some kind of respect amongst ourselves with our neighbors and get that, man, I'd love to say like some slur words, that faggot, like a fag, that faggots Justin Trudeau out of office, that pedo lover piece of fucking shit. And, Bill Gates, I'm not even going to say anything.
I'm glad you brought up Trudeau because I don't have a huge relationship with my dad, but he's a hardcore conservative in Quebec, and there's a huge portion of Canada that wants to get Trudeau out of office.
They need to. It's the best thing that'll have. Canada has so much potential. Could be like such a great nation, and Trudeau's like worried about. And like, dude, when you hear stuff like this, when I start speaking, man, he's worried about filling up diversity quotas and stuff. People are like, yo, you're a fucking bigot. And I'm like, no, why are you worried about making your country as diverse as you can instead of as fucking complete as you can? Yeah, if people want to move into your country, feel free. Like, but you don't need to put a focus like, we don't have enough fucking Muslim refugees in this country. Like, who fucking thinks that? Like, and it's not to say anything bad about Muslim, but who the fuck says, dude, we need more fucking Muslim refugees in this country, even though most of the people here are, like French, Canadian, or fucking British and just mind their own business. And that won't really pair well over with the society we have here, coming from the war-torn land that they're coming from. And that's a whole nother. And like people, you're just a bigot. You just don't fucking want people to have a chance. It's like, no, I get it. And then, at the same time, like people in the politics sector, they're all fucking hypocrites. I admit I'm a hypocrite. You can call me out and be like, yo, you're a hypocrite about this. And I'll be like, oh, yeah, you're right. I can be that way sometimes. And like, I'll just own it. I'll do the whole Trump thing. I'm not apologizing. I only apologize if I truly feel like I should. And like, I do it to people on a constant basis. Like if I really feel, and I do it privately, I don't like try and make a big deal out of it. I'll contact them and be like, hey, look, I may have seemed out of pocket, but I do want to apologize, or let you know that I wasn't directing anything mean at you. Cause I do care about what people think, not about me, but think. I don't want them to think the wrong thing. I don't want them to get the wrong impression of me. I don't give a fuck if they think I'm an asshole. I don't give a fuck if they think I'm a piece of shit. I know that. But like at the same time, like here, like the whole kids in cages thing is that shit. They were posting pictures like Trump has got kids in cages and stuff like that. And granted, I'm gonna look at the news and be like, whoa, does he? And then you find out that picture's from the Obama era. Nobody's saying shit about that. Nobody made a big stink about that. And so it's shit like that like when I see that, you just go, well, hey, fuck you to the people that are on that side. Like, what's wrong with you? Why are you focusing on hating someone so much because you don't like his rhetoric? Like, granted, I get it if you don't like the guy's politics. I get it. But at the same time, like, listen, did you hear Eddie Bravo? Eddie Bravo was like, dude, before all this shit was kicking off, he was like on Joey Diaz's podcast. And he was like, dude, fucking economy's doing great, man. What can I fucking say? He's like, I like Trump. He's like, I'm not a Trump nut hugger. He's like, but I know a lot of people that would like their community would be like, you're a piece of shit for liking Trump. That's because that's the issue right there, is that hive mind to gather around and lambast people who like Trump is even more of a reason for other people to be drawn towards him and think that he's just spreading shit that's kind of like truth. I'm not saying Trump is some savior. I do not believe that. I totally feel that he has moments where he is an absolute moron.
Oh yeah, he does.
Yeah, but at the same
Every
time,
president does.
if you ever see some of the times where he's being an absolute moron, he releases the optics of certain people. Like some people will come out, and then now, we're focusing on this dude and like this guy's crime. Trump's fucking like that fucking gif of fucking Apollo Creed fucking moving in the corner or whatever. It's just like, who was that? Oh, no, it's Muhammad Ali, rope a doping. Fucking Trump, like that is just so true. Like that's just how he is with the media. And the thing is because the dude came up in the media, in show business and stuff like that, rub with shoulders with people like that. Like when watching him run for president, I just jumped on the bandwagon because it was fun to troll. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, go Trump. And
Listen,
not
dude,
a shit.
He pulled a straight up Andy Kaufman when he ran for president, And like I'm muting you for a second just because there's a little bit of an echo, but like he went straight up Andy Kaufman. And dude, we legit have a president who was in the WWE, for God's sake. Like he knows how to manipulate he knows how to manipulate the media. And even now, like it's weird because before him we didn't really have the whole fake news terminology, but now like, and I'm not a big Trump supporter, I'm not a nut hugger. Like honestly, dude, I voted for Gary Johnson. I threw my vote away, and like I have no faith in politics at all right now. But he does a really good job of manipulating the media, and he exposed the fact that we're no longer reporting on facts, and we're more reporting to get clicks and views. There you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Is there echo in there again? Or
no, you're good.
So yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Oprah. I totally agree, Oprah. Everything you said there is right. They fucking doctor fill it up with you. He's manipulated the media. He's exposed. Like you never saw people be so flamboyant on Twitter and social media until Trump came out and started doing it, and people started playing ball, started calling him like disrespectful things, and you're like, oh, that guy is not as perfect as we thought he was. And so when he first started running, to be honest, I wasn't really like, I didn't really actually like, because a lot of people I know that like Trump have argued with me where I'm like, man, how can you like him? I have gone back and forth of not liking Trump and been like, I don't like what he does, I don't like this alliance. But at the end of the day, I've seen just basically like there's some real shit. And the one thing that sells me is how the fucking media comes after him and constantly lies, and it's debunked. And then you go, wait, what? And then all the executive orders this man has signed to combat child trafficking and sex trafficking. Yeah. And he has had more people in his term, in his administration arrested for sex trafficking and all that kind of stuff and sex crimes than any president combined in my lifetime. Like by a long shot, and like literally bullying after it, like signing executive order after executive order. He signed executive orders that take people's property if you're committed for like a gnarly ass sex crime, like something that's like so heinous, like sex crime or like a treason crime. So like all these CEOs, it's really weird that all these Fortune 500 CEOs stepped down. You know what I mean? That was really weird. It's like,
right before all this happened.
Oops, we don't want all our property to be liquidated because we're going to get fucking treason or pedo charges. And like, then you boil down to this whole Epstein thing, and everybody's like, well, you know what? Trump hung out with Epstein. And yeah, he hung out with him. He spent a little bit of time with him, around him, but he wasn't like schmoozed up with him. He didn't get on his plane. And that's a huge factor. And like, it's sad. Like you look at that flight log and you go, oh no. And like, dude, if you were getting on that guy's plane, you weren't getting on that guy's plane because he didn't have dirt on you.
Yeah.
He had dirt on you.
That's one of those things, man. Like, that's one of the things I don't like about Trump is he did have some association with Epstein, but 90% of our politicians did, like it's
Trump,
really
a lot of people rub elbows together. Doesn't matter. They do it.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing I have to like take in, because if I'm around someone, okay, let's use Marcel as a perfect example. We all had Marcel in the events. Just because he was a piece of shit doesn't mean we were all pieces of shit too. Like I've had Marcel on my events before. You came up underneath him. Like there's good people.
Got my purple belt from him.
Yeah, there were good people that were around him. And I'm not saying Trump's a good person. Like I don't know. Trump may be a piece of shit. I don't fucking know him, but
half and half.
Yeah, exactly. Just like that's the one thing that does draw me towards Trump a little bit is the fact that he's a real human. He's not fake, like the good
not
and
a
the
career
bad.
Politician, someone who's been lying to our face.
Yeah, the good and the bad does come out, but that Epstein shit is seriously the craziest thing. And he was literally murdered in blind fucking daylight, and it's like, oh shit, security cameras aren't there. Oh, the guards aren't there.
Oh, they were asleep. They fell asleep. Is like, oh man, like,
and dude, that's one of the. I don't even want to call it a conspiracy theorist or a conspiracy theory because it's just fact now. Like there's been multiple people come out.
That was too sloppy. That was too sloppy. They could have did that. If I had any opinion to the hitman that had any involvement in that, yo, dude, that was too sloppy. You could have made it look like a straight up hit for him going to court and let that guy take in the fall. That would have been smarter. And then that would have been like, people would have been like, well, we saw that coming, because he knew a lot of people. But him dying in jail.
Kennedy. Yeah, they should have done to Robert Kennedy.
And mind you, I've been in prison, jail, and whatnot. And when you are in a maximum security facility, and I know he wasn't on suicide watch at the time that he died, but he had been put on suicide watch. When you are in a maximum security facility like that, and the one that he was in is actually the most max in New York City, like even more so than like Rikers, they say. It's a prison in Manhattan, like downtown. And so when you're in that shit don't happen, man. Dude, those fucking places, and I've been a trustee, I've been in all the jails, dude. You don't have cameras like in the cell unless you're like a suicide watch, which usually in a suicide watch cell, it's a completely glass cell. Like they can see straight in there. You're in a block full of people in like glass boxes, and fucking you lay down on the bed that they give you that you can't. There's no sheets. They give you this blanket that's in like one piece that doesn't move. You can't tie up or tie around your neck. There ain't no way you can fucking kill yourself. You're not allowed shoelaces in jail. Dude, that's something like when people are, you don't know, and I'm like, bitch, there's so many factors that I'm fucking a pro at. But like not saying like, yo, I solved it, but like, dude, I've been in jail. I've seen, and not only just been in jail and locked in a cell, but I've been a trustee and seen the ins and outs of jail and like how secure those places are and how much you need to get through just to get to, for a man to be able to kill him. That's an inside job, bro. He didn't, and he had no, and on the independent autopsy, his neck injury show consistent with strangulation. So everybody on the left, the right, center, up, down, nobody bought it. There's nobody that bought that shit.
So how long do you think until the actual dirt comes out? Because I forget her name right now, but his what's the name of the one that brings the girls? Fucking you know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, the girl who's they're both Epstein and fucking fuck, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, they're both Mossad. They think they're Mossad agents, believe it or not. I mean, like, they're both Jewish.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Ghislaine Maxwell, and her father was a Mossad agent. Okay. Or worked for Mossad.
And there's been all these rumors that Epstein was a CIA agent working with the CIA and is
No, Mossad. Like, he's very schmoozed.
I don't know one way or another. This is all theories, but the most prevalent thing that's always heard is he had dirt on everybody. At what point do you think this dirt's going to come out? Because the theory is now that Maxwell has a kill switch, and that's why she hasn't been taken care of, Because, like, if they take care of her, all the information is going to get leaked out and fucking all the Clintons and fucking bullshit like that. Do you think that shit's ever going to come out?
I feel like Maxwell is deeper in it than Epstein, and that's not being brought up, and he is the straw man. Because if you think about it, her connections through her father and Epstein and these weird, like, Epstein was just financial. Like, we need a playboy. We can't do it with a woman like that. We need a playboy and someone that can be everywhere. And he was good. He had money. It's like this dude, like, schmoozes. Like, if you listen to his come up and how he got to where he got, you're confused at certain points. You're like, wait, how did this guy have $500 million, $1 billion? Where'd that come from? He had a fucking island with underground tunnels that connected to the other islands and stuff like that. Like, that takes some buku fucking money. And he didn't have like a private little jet. He had a plane.
Huge jet.
He had a fucking Air Force One. It's the Lolita Express, it was called. And the fact that Bill Clinton rode on that 27 times is really suspect. And we already know that Bill Clinton's a creep. At first, we were like the young us kind of glorified it because pop culture talked about it in comedy and minimized it, which was wrong.
I remember growing up. It's like he didn't inhale. He was playing his saxophone on the late night shows, and he was the lovable president, you know?
Yeah. And, you know, the same kind of rise he had to power in 1992 is identical to Donald Trump. It's just the flip-flop of the flip-flop of the roles, where it was the Republicans going crazy. Here they had this really crazy, like, barely been in politics, because wasn't he just a governor? Just a governor of Arkansas.
And then all the fucking shit with him and the flying drugs in the fucking. Well, not just that, but the flying drugs in. Like, that's been fucking proven.
He was selected over Jeb at the Bohemian Grove accordingly to. I know, but hey, dude, the Bohemian Grove, that's not a fucking like.
I know the Bohemian Grove is true.
Yeah, that's not. Now, do I know exactly what happens in there? No, but dude, and I'm only quoting. Now, what I'm about to say is I'm quoting Nixon. Okay, so this is going to be a slur, but Nixon, when they were like, what about the Bohemian Grove? He's like, that's a place where fucking faggots go and run around naked. I don't like it. And, you know, Nixon was his own kind of person. Like, yeah, he was corrupt. Yeah, he was involved, but he wasn't. I don't feel as if Nixon was like a rogue. He had involvement with those guys, but like, exactly. He didn't play ball for them. So they and that's the thing is, like, after they got Kennedy out, because that was the end of our republic. Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. And no, even more so is Junior. Because there's even another conspiracy out there that JFK Jr. could still be alive.
You mean Monroe's kid?
Monroe's kid. No. The actual JFK Jr. Like JFK Jr. The one who died in a plane accident in 1999. Maybe.
That'd be funny.
Oh, no. Monroe got fucking suffocated with barbiturates for trying to leak the music on the Kennedys. But like, dude, I mean, come on, the Kennedys, dude, like, there's like, that goes back. That's where conspiracy, like they create words like this cultural Marxist system that we live in, like, where we're just like, where it's like dystopian as shit. You go all the way back to like 1908, 1910, where like Leon Trotsky, aka Lev Bronstein, from Harlem, New York, led the Bolshevik Revolution and created a word called racism, racist, to use to smear people that were against the total cosmopolitan idea of Russia and not a nationalist Russia. They just want to mix everybody. And it's like, that's it. And like, there's you know, light to that, but even more so, I hold the idea that I believe that Michelle Obama is a man and still has a penis.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Michael Obama. And so, Sleepy Joe, let's talk about him for a second.
Okay. Like, actually, I was going to talk to you about that because the whole, I mean, the most blatant, like, so I was a Democrat for the longest period of time, and now I'm
still a registered Democrat.
Yeah, I'm a registered Democrat as well, and I still right now I view myself more as like a libertarian, but even then, like, I'm not anything, you know. But
libertarians, you guys are the biggest cucks. Either be hot or cold, dude. You guys are the bisexuals of the fucking.
Yeah. Listen, I'm a fiscal conservative and a social liberal, okay?
Yeah, man. You want to fuck them in the butt and smoke weed and have guns and stuff?
I am a Canadian transplant down in redneck fucking Florida. So I am, if anyone's a libertarian, it's fucking me, because I was raised hardcore fucking liberal, and now I'm a fucking gun-toting, whiskey-drinking, Second Amendment, like,
fuck yeah. I love that fucking Second Amendment, man.
But listen,
I love it.
The Democratic Party's getting sloppy, man. Like, they made it very obvious with one, obviously, you know, we talked about Epstein, but fucking Bernie the first time. And now the second time, dude, like they all started coming out with Biden. And like, I don't understand why the Democrats think Biden is the right candidate for this. Like, in my opinion, like I was a huge fan of Tulsi Gabbard. You know, I thought Tulsi and like I'm not a big Bernie fan, but like a Tulsi Bernie combo probably would have been a winning combo.
Tulsi Yang
too. But listen,
yeah, that's what I wanted.
That's what I wanted too. But neither one of them have the name to push through to actually win the election. You know, but like you get Biden up there and Trump. Like, first off,
you want to know something about Tulsi Gabbard that just broke my heart, because I was just, you heard me, I was like, Tulsi 2020. I was just kind of like, yeah, Tulsi. And I don't really want a woman to be my leader, to be honest. You can call me a sexist, but I don't. But Tulsi had the mental capacity. You know, she was just very collected.
Military experience too.
Exactly. So, you know, I was just like, you know what? And she's saying the one thing. She had me. So I was like, I will vote for you. She was like, endless regime change wars. And I was like, you're right. We don't need to be in those. And I believe that you will pull us out of those. Because me, as a nationalist, like I consider myself like a fascist, like a hyper nationalist. Like people are lucky that I don't go and become the dictator and fucking clean this country up and stuff. But I would be a multicultural fascist, not like a ethnic fascist. I'm not going to kick people out because,
let's go ahead and clarify that there. I know you mean fascist, like as in the political affiliation, not
yeah.
Like, you know.
I mean, like I have one of my huge, like I have 3 role models, you know, and it's very controversial who they are. Malcolm X is one.
Yeah.
George Lincoln Rockwell, he's he's a leader of the American Nazi Party. But he was a war vet of World War II, and like he has some very good books that he talked about, and his involvement with Malcolm X is something that's never talked about, which is very interesting about how the two nationalist sides of the spectrum of Black Americans and white Americans were working together during the civil rights era and got really no attention. Like the American Nazis showed up to Malcolm X's rallies and protected it from white people so that they didn't attack him. He's like, nah, man, I appreciate what you're doing. You're trying to make your people, you know, better. You're nationalists and you're on the same page as me. You know, they said nice things to each other. They didn't love each other or anything. And then Sir Oswald Mosley, should look into him.
I haven't heard of that one.
He was the youngest member elected to British Parliament at 21 years old, World War I veteran. He was like an Irish gypsy son that made his way into, is like born in England, but like of Irish parents.
Yeah, he's a traveler.
And he was the leader of the British Union of Fascists. And he was very, very compassionate to the people of Britain. He just didn't want them being involved in wars. Here's the also beautiful thing about that fascism that I admire, but I would never want to implement it into my own fascism, is they hold the respect and the leadership to the monarchy above themselves. And like, I think absolute monarchies are irrelevant and outdated. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's great. It's a great idea, but like Sir Oswald Mosley, at the end of the day, were he given power as Prime Minister of Britain, he would totally not try and take control over the country and secede complete direction from the king at the time. And then, and same with Mussolini. Mussolini looked to the king of, I'm not a fan of Mussolini. I think he was an asshole, batshit. I won't get into Hitler because everybody's sensitive about that. But like these people actually, that's the thing with fascism, is they believe in what fascism is just simply the organic natural order of things, is to say there is a hierarchy that is natural based on capabilities and stuff like that. Not necessarily the Hindu caste system, but also like it means that the state takes care of the people and the people take care of the state. It is not communism. It is on the end of the spectrum of it. And when people use the term fascists at each other, they're all idiots. Neither of them is really a fascist. Like, it's just maybe dystopian, totalitarian, like some kind of like capitalist, like totalitarianism is like, but not fascist. Fascist is a little bit more organized, and there's been models of fascism, but it goes the great evil of there isn't room in this town for 3 people. You know what I mean? You gotta have capitalism, or you gotta have communism. You know what I'm saying? And so
now
when it gets
we're getting kind of political now, but you said it. There's not room for all these different ideologies in the same town. And personally, I believe the U.S. is too big to govern, and it should. And this is why I'm more of a states' right person. I really believe the problems in California and the problems in New York are not the same problems you get in Arkansas, Alabama, and some of the other places like that.
Yeah. Which is why we have the Electoral College, which makes things fair. Because if you were to just go off of a pure popular vote, you're limiting, the people who live in cities are typically liberal because it's high bustling space. That's where universities will be, especially if you look at the demographics of political leanings here in Florida. Florida is a red state, but if you look at the counties where the universities are, they're blue counties. Yeah. They're blue counties. So and that's because the education system has been infiltrated by, the school of thought, the Frankfurt School of Thought, which is a communist Marxist way of thinking, which has led to many of our professors in our higher education system fucking spoon feeding our children fucking communist nonsense and socialist bullshit and focusing on the white man and shit like that. It's just so fucking obnoxious. It's yo, I don't believe in hurting people, but God.
What are you doing next Friday this time?
Why? You want me to debate Sonny again?
Maybe not Sonny, but I'm going to find a really intelligent left-leaning person to come in here and talk, because I feel like I don't have many counterpoints, because honestly, we have a lot of similar opinions. I'm not as well read into the craziness as some people would say that you go into, but
the book I'm going to give you, hey, you're going to be oh my fucking God. You're going to be Spencer was right. Fuck. I can't go back from that.
Copy of Mein Kampf in my fucking...
No, not at all. No, not at all.
I'm just fucking with you.
A funny thing about Mein Kampf is the guy who had me read Mein Kampf was a black nationalist in jail. I was angry about that. I didn't want to read it. I was no, man, I don't want to read that. And I was kind of really far lefty. I was pro-Obama. I wanted him to be socialist. I was I fucking hope he's socialist and stuff. And but he was read this. It's very important.
Yeah, so and I really believe it's something that a lot of people should read. And not because it should be copied and stuff like that, but I think to really know why you don't want to go into those evil ways and the problems of the past, you need to understand it. You need to understand their mindset. You can't. It's in all these dystopian fucking movies. You see everybody banning the Bible and banning all these religious texts and stuff like that because they don't agree with it. You can't just whitewash over the past. You need to be able to read it and understand it.
But when it comes to, I lost my train of thought. I really did. You're saying, I forget what it was. It's dystopian. I recently read the Communist Manifesto, and I'm totally against communism. I don't agree with it. But when you do read it, there are fair points that Karl Marx makes against capitalism. It was a very good critique against a economic system that was the powerhouse and growing powerhouse at the time, that was creating a lot of economic and wealth disparities amongst certain classes of people. And so he was really accurate in some of his critiques. So when I say that, I'm not saying, yo, I'm a communist. And there's been multiple things that I've heard Bernie say that I go, he's right.
Yeah.
And I'm he's right. But do I agree with his solution to the problem? Not necessarily, because I'm not necessarily also agreeing with the other side's solution to the problem. I have other things that I've created my opinions on. I'm a wealth. I do believe personally to get into I believe in a healthcare for all system. I don't believe in it the way that Bernie proposes it. I believe in a nationalist, fascist way. Everybody has their rights, but no rights without duties. You know what I'm saying? You don't get shit unless you're willing to do something for it. And that's, working. And the system of money we have is too inflated and too spread out. And people are chasing money too much. forcing too much need, like and that is what's called cultural Marxism. It's materialism. It's the need for things instead of experience and joy. And so there should, in a fascist society, be more of, like all of that for production is in the workplace, and everything outside of that is for the family. You know what I'm saying? Like you need to, and just as much as focusing on the environment. Yeah, I am 100% for the environment. I don't believe in I'm not, when I say I don't believe in global warming or climate change or anything, I'm not saying, yo, that's awful. But there is, to digress a little bit, the 97% of scientists agree that term, that phrase was coined by a fucking comic artist, not a scientist. And he took his study from not a peer-reviewed research study. He took it from a selected cherry-picked study. And then Barack Obama repeated it. So people want to say that, Trump's an idiot. But Barack Obama repeated it. And there is numerous scientists that go, no, that's not true. You can explain the melting and stuff of large things in areas due to volcanic activity, subterranean, like underwater and whatnot. As well, it's heating the area. Now, I'm not saying that's the whole reason. I'm not saying things aren't changing around the climate. The climate does change on this planet. But the fact that you are willing to monetize it and put a tax on it and stuff like that is like where you draw the line and go, hold up. Why? Why are you doing that?
I do believe that what we're doing to the environment is detrimental, but there's no denying that the Earth has gone through multiple climate changes, whether it's the Ice Age, when the fucking meteors hit and we start warming back up. Like it goes through ebbs and flows like anything else. Do I think that what we're doing we should probably fix? And I think this is a really good time because like we see now, like just from this little, like us last 6 weeks not doing as much, we start seeing the planet kind of rebounding a little bit and seeing actual changes. So like
we don't need to use oil-based products, man. Like seriously, like be a hippie about that at least,
this is one of the few things that I feel like coming out, there's a handful of things coming out of this quarantine that I think is good. I think one, there's going to be a lot more creative thought, and we're going to see almost like a cultural renaissance because we're stuck at home with nothing to do. But two, this may be what gets us to go green a little bit more because this is one of the first times we've seen the oil prices.
Green New Deal.
Yeah, Green New Deal. But dude, like with the oil prices going so low, and I don't know. I'm not a fucking economist. I know it's not good for us to have.
Because our dollar is based off of oil trade.
So. Exactly. And the Saudi and the Russian oil war that's going on now is fucking everything up. But I do believe there is a chance that we can come out of this a little bit better for the environment,
So gold prices are going up.
Yeah.
And oil prices are going down. And for some people who understand what I'm saying, trust the plan, where we go one, we go all. I'm one of those conspiracy nuts. I follow the QAnon thing. And there's been so many things that get proven out of that. And, people are like, well, that's been debunked. And then later you're like, holy shit. That kind of thing. And I won't get into that. If you don't want to fucking do your own research on that, you already know the name, people you can talk to, do your own research on that. I can't even get into that because that gets crazy. But I'm not saying that they're satanic pedophiles, but it's looking like they're satanic pedophiles.
Yeah, it's true.
So like I forget where I was going with that. What was I saying?
Satanic pedophiles.
Before that.
QAnon, and not getting into that kind of shit. We're talking about the environment and
yeah. So gold is going up, and so the whole thing is like Trump now technically
has. Let's kind of preface this a little bit because I've heard this conspiracy that this is all to get us back onto the gold standard.
Gold standard, the constitutional republic, and the act of 1871 get rid of the central banking system, which is printing fake fiat currency. Right now, the Federal Reserve exists and the IRS exists. The IRS is the most illegal thing that we have allowed to exist in this country. It is an income tax. They're taking income tax from us, which is unconstitutional. And a couple billionaires got together and made sure that the Titanic sank, along with 3 or 4 prominent billionaires that were combating them, much more rich than they were, and they were going to combat their plan to create a central banking cabal that they ended up creating after that to the Federal Reserve Act in 1913.
I'll have
And
to
then
read into that one.
dude, I can it's just like the Federal Reserve Act, the meeting that they had on Jekyll Island, Warburg, Rockefeller, Rothschild, J.P. Morgan, Goldman, like they created the Federal Reserve Act to where they could be like, yeah, you know what, we're gonna have control of the money like we do with the Bank of London. They put Woodrow Wilson into office so that he could be their puppet, and then they forced Woodrow Wilson to get into World War I because Lionel Rothschild went to Arthur Balfour and said, hey, I can get America into the war and help you win the Brits. He's like, but you have to promise me Palestine. British mandated Palestine so that, like we can give it to, my people for the Jews and stuff like that so they can have a homeland. And he's like, okay, whatever, man. So he signs it, and, they put pressure on Woodrow Wilson, which at the time we didn't want to go into the war, so they created this sinking of the Lusitania, which was like the 9/11, the Gulf of
World War I. Yeah, it was like the Pearl Harbor of World War I.
Yeah, and dude, we see it time and time and time again. We're like, there's a war going on right now, but we're not in it yet. But hey, get ready. There's going to be a really big tragedy involving American lives, and we're not going to tolerate that. And those people, they hate us for our freedom. And it's just rhetoric that they brainwash people with left and right. And I know I sound crazy, but come on. If you're sensible, if you have any form of thinking of logic, you can see through that. Like you see it repeating itself. We get into the same result each time. We don't want to be in war. We get in war. Thousands of people die.
As the regime change wars. And this is something you and I both agree on. And it's been proven, like you said, the Gulf of Tonkin, the Bay of Pigs. These are things that the government does.
That we've proven. They've unclassified the documents, and wait till 9/11 gets unclassified.
Yeah, I mean that's the only time I think we're gonna. Even then, I don't know. That's always gonna be something.
Or alien D-class, ET D-class. That would. I mean, I'm on the fence. I don't know. Like I say, I'm one of those guys who's like, yeah, I believe maybe the world is round, but it could be flat. I don't know. I'm not like, yo, it is flat, but hey, it could be.
I think everyone having a skeptic mindset is somewhat healthy, because to an extent. Because
I get too skeptical sometimes, and it really pushes everybody away. I can't even have a conversation at a dinner table with children without bringing up satanic pedophile elite and stuff. And ruin the steak dinner.
That's just something that has a filter, okay? You should have a skeptic mindset, or even a scientific mindset. I had this teacher in high school who said that we're all born scientists and following the scientific method as children because we're always asking why, And I think too often people kind of lose that and they just take everything at face value. I'm not saying everything's a conspiracy, but we're in an age now where we can't do our own research, And I was talking about this with a Goozy. Is a lot of people don't go through and cite their sources, and because most real literature has a bibliography with sources cited, and you can trace that back.
And so will this book that I'm going to give you. It's almost every 10 lines has got some source that you can check. It's if you want to do the research yourself, it'll take you 2 months to read. Yeah, but you could probably read it in a week. It's a hard, really intelligent read, but you're going to be like, holy fuck, Spencer was right. And then I'm just going to be like, red-pilled. Red-pilled, oh God. But you're absolutely right. So what if I told you that women's rights, women's liberation was funded by the Rockefellers, not because they wanted women. I'm not saying, hey, man, women should vote, bro. I like to tell really feminist women that are uptight, pissing me off. I'll walk up to them and be like, hey, you want to hear a funny joke? And they'll be like, what? And I'll go, women's rights, and slap my knee and laugh. And they're like, you fucking, I just want a girl to punch me sometimes just to see if they're that mad. Do I really want women not to vote? Sometimes I don't. Especially, sometimes I really don't. Like,
Oh
I'm
my
going to be
God,
honest, like,
Brandon.
hey, I'm not an asshole for that. I'm like, say, I'm pretty sure women probably go, do I want men to vote? And I'm like, well, we created the system, so deal with it.
Listen, dude,
So
I
fucking
don't think 90% of the people should vote, you know? Like, and that's like
Gordon
the,
Ryan said that. Gordon Ryan's like 90% of us shouldn't even be able to vote. He's like, I'm
and
not
dude,
even
honestly,
qualified to vote.
I was gonna say, I don't know if I'm qualified to fucking vote. Like, you know what's insane is
I'm qualified.
I voted in 2012, and that was the year I graduated high school.
You
How
voted for Obama?
yeah, it was for Obama. And listen,
I wasn't going to vote for Romney either. I did vote for Obama. I regretted
how
it, but
crazy, like, think about how crazy you were at 18, because you're a psycho now, you know? But, like, imagine.
I was in prison.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah,
And
a majority of being 18, I was in prison. I actually got there on my 18th birthday.
18-year-olds should not be able to vote, you know? And they were talking about bringing it down to 16, you know? Like,
Yeah,
it's crazy.
yeah, they
Like,
want to bring the sexual age of consent down to 16 too. Those fucking sick fucks.
Yeah,
They're
that's
all
fucked up.
sick. Like, that's the thing. Like,
Florida already has a Romeo and Juliet law, 16 to 24, you know? So, like,
it doesn't piss me off, honestly. Like, that's okay to me, to be honest. Like, I mean, like, the age disparity, like, it's different when you're fucking 31 and you're fucking a 16-year-old. Then you're disgusting.
I thought it was going to take us a lot longer to get our first hate mail, but this is our first hate mail. 2 hours and 25 minutes in, a guy in a dress.
A guy in a dress?
Actually, I probably shouldn't say that because I may be misgendering this individual.
Who? What did they say? Look at these fucking losers. Who's that? I don't know them.
I don't know. Somebody who looks like they're on meth and saying that we look like we're on meth. So, you know, welcome to the world. But yeah, dude, like, that's something I think we can both agree on. Lowering the age of consent to 16 is not a good idea. You know, like a Romeo and Juliet law, I don't mind because 16 to 24, like, I don't think that's.
You see a 24-year-old with a 16-year-old and you're like, dude.
Yeah,
I'm not going to stop and like end it because it's not my place.
Yeah.
But like I'm also extremely passionate about not harming your elders, rape, child pornography, like anything that has to do with harming children. And, I mean, like, I don't mind spanking a kid on the ass and telling him get his ass home, but like, and that's wrong. But I mean, like, but at the same time, like the most innocent thing we have in life is our children and the people we need to take care of, our elders that have brought us to the place that we are. So like, I'm very angry about it.
Is like this scary, like,
I'll kill you.
Yeah,
I'll kill you. Like, my dad, I just like to say this, like, my dad is you've met him. He's a very pragmatic, AB, black, white Christian man. Like, hey, listen, you do this right. You should be honest. I've always been like, is this okay? Is this okay? And he's just like, no, if it's not okay, it's not okay. And I looked at my dad recently, like after Kasai, and I go, Dad, is it okay for me to want to fucking kill pedophiles? And he's like, am I wrong to want to kill pedophiles? And he's like, no, you're not, sir. And just said it really quick. And just like, that was all the approval that I need to like, just feel like justified. And fucking, if I ever come across, you know, like, lucky there wasn't a purge or a shutdown, because I was really actually, like, I'm openly will state, I was really ready to look at my internet and be like, which one of you guys is nearby me? Because
dude, like every time
you should have thought about.
Every time I go to fucking Miami, when I was there for Jits Kings, I was in the car and I fucking got on the phone with Jenna. I'm like, look, if I see Marcel here, you need to have bail money ready to go because this shit's not going to happen, you know? Mm-hmm. And like, well, there's more that, yeah, I'm not going to get into that right now just because it gets me so fucking pissed off.
I get it. You know, like, I can't knock anybody that like, if I see that, I used to not understand it because I can't say I had that view, but being around kids, like, and knowing, you know, like my drug use really did, you know, put kids in harm's way at the gym I trained at. And I you know, I'm glad I can put that behind me. I mean, like, I wear that shame. I'm not going to hide it, obviously, but I did. And it wasn't safe. And I've learned from that, and I'm not going to ever do something like that again. But also in that saying, like, to not be a hypocrite is I value children, being around them, and I see how vulnerable some of these and impressionable some of these kids are. And like, it starts with mentorship. If they don't have, you can't guarantee that people are going to have a family unit, a good family at that, but you can be a good mentor to people. And I'm a heavy, I mean, I want my own children one day. I mean, like, it's like Trick Daddy. Trick, lot of kids. Spencer, a lot of kids. I really do. Like,
let's stay on this topic for a minute and let's end on this, because this is a really positive note that I know you and I both, because like we had very similar upbringings. You know, I was 12 years old doing hard drugs, and I was like on the same path that you were. Luckily, I didn't get caught for any of the things that I did. And the things that really stopped me from going that is mentors. You know, I didn't have a dad growing up, you know, and then I had a piece of shit stepdad growing up. And the things that really saved me are definitely, one, my lacrosse coaches, and two, Bill, my jiu-jitsu coach. And without those mentorship roles, like, it's very scary what could happen, you know? So I think that's something that everyone needs. And it's something like, I'm really happy to see you coaching more too, because you can do those things because you've seen that stuff and you know how bad it can be, you know?
I mean, like, I'm a good speaker. I'm not scared. I'll walk into a room full of people that I know are judging me and do my best to make them all feel uncomfortable real quick, so I can put them down at my level. It's a tactic I use. You've seen me do it. You see me walk into a room and be like, "Sup, faggots," or like "fuckers," or something like that. And like, even worse, weigh-ins, the stuff that I would wear and things. And like, it's just, it's reverse psychology, because, you know, we're all dealing and battling with something inside. But like mentors, I didn't have any. That's why I was wayward. All my mentors, actually, if I did have them, they were negative, because outlaw mentality, it was just more fun. Negative attention was always easier to grasp at as a kid. And, you know, like, being a bad boy got me like attention from girls that I liked and stuff, even though I was like a very short, obnoxious, large-headed Jimmy Neutron looking piece of shit. People were like, Spencer's around. And like, but I was just always like very compassionate too. Like, I mean, like, I'm a very selfish person, but at the same time, I'll do things for people because I want to be a part of the group. I want to be friends with people. I like my friends. My friends are cool. They do good things for me. And so like my mentor, like, if, I know this is going to sound odd, but if I really had like a big mentor that like really changed things around for me, I have a lot of people that is like, you know, that kid, Zachariah Jones, that I like, he may not see it that way, but just like spending time with him and like having to talk to him and tell him, like, just, he would kind of like look at me and be like, really? Like, cause we would chat about like stuff I've done. And he'd be like, oh, that's not smart. You know, like, just like not going to judge me or anything like that. And it's like, it's a 17, 18-year-old kid, 19-year-old kid. And he just didn't judge me, you know, like, and all he saw really was that I was really good at jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? Like, I was just really good at jiu-jitsu.
And
not really, but I was just like,
you bring up a good point. Like, I never understood why, because I've had bad mentors, I've had good mentors, and now I'm in a position where I mentor people and I'm trying to be as good of an example as I can, you know, and like, we all fall down, we all fuck up, but I never really understood why my mentors did what they did for me, you know. And now that I'm in that position, you bring it up with Zachariah, but like with Gage, like, and someone's going to screenshot this and send it to him and he's going to make fun of me, but like, I got definitely more out of those relationships and helping these guys come up, because I remember seeing Gage at like 16 years old from a similar upbringing that I did, and he was on a fucking bad path, you know, and
impressionable. You want to do this? Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I saw it, and he just had you.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy, because like, I love his mom and I love his dad, and they both are great people, you know, but he definitely needed that male mentor to kind of like smack him in the head when he's being a fucking retard, and then give him those props when he wasn't, you know. And dude, I never understood why people did that till the night he left for the Air Force. Like, dude, I cried, man. Like, I didn't let him see me cry, you know, and I didn't handle it the best way. Like, I took him out and we all hung out, and then I was going home. My wife was driving me home, and I'm drunk, fucking crying in the seat, like, oh my God, I'm losing it. But like, I can't stress enough how important it is, if you have the ability to mentor someone, to be a positive impact in their life, to do that, you know?
Mm-hmm. No, yeah. I feel like a mentor to me was Zach, even though I was mentoring him. I've mentored numerous people, and the thing is I can be a great mentor, but I may not live. Uh, 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 I say it in poems that I write all the time. I would practice what I preach, but patience I lack it. You know, like, and like, it's just like I have, and all of my points of view for mentorship is just like, I'm a fuck up kid. Please don't do what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's not gonna pan out for you. And like, I'm surprised I'm still managing and doing, this good. I haven't ended up in prison or dead. I'm just so blessed, like just so fortunate to be a part of all of like what I'm a part of and be able to, I can't tell you how fortunate and blessed I am to be like, wake up and go, I do jiu-jitsu. I love to do jiu-jitsu, and all my friends love to do jiu-jitsu with me, and that's my life. And like, that's fucking a blessing, just beyond all measure.
100%.
Just so blessed. And like, if I'm so blessed by it that like I'll stop at nothing to try and spread whatever goodness I can to other people. Like, at the end of the day, I shit post a lot. But I have so many people in my inbox, and I'm not doing this to posture or high horse. So many people like talk either sobriety, life coaching, where should I do, relationship issues. And it's just like, I've never felt like I've steered them in the wrong direction. You know what I mean? I have platonic friendships with women, which I don't think are really necessary or like possible for most people, and I can't see myself doing that with a lot of women. But jiu-jitsu itself has also taught me to do that. I have really a lot of women that are like best friends to me, like where it's just I hang out with them a lot, and like I get it. People are like, dude, they're banging. This never happened. But like also jiu-jitsu, I'm starting to come to the point where like I really should try and date a girl in jiu-jitsu because I've never done it, and like she like pragmatically she shares the same love that I do. So that's a big key thing, but it's also always, I program myself for it to be my escape and program myself to never really look at the women in the gym as objects, but training partners. And I've always been someone in every gym I've been at that coaches like, oh, you're the new girl. Would you like to go roll with Spencer? He's small. He's good to roll with. He's not going to hurt you. Like you don't have to feel, like intimidated by the bigger guys in here, because that does, as someone who signs people up, that plays a factor. Women will be intimidated by some big burly men sweating all over them and crushing them if they have no gym etiquette. And you can't guarantee that people have that, or if they're not having a bad day or not understanding the pressure that they're putting on the woman. And I try my very best to be the best I can in jiu-jitsu, help people. It's the only good I won't say the only good. It was the part in my life where I was beginning to crawl, walk, and run in good. You know what I mean? Like really start to find something that I can create goodness and take, like give and get from jiu-jitsu. And like I have all these mentors that are like, do this and do that. And hey, man. And it sucked that I had a mentor like Marcel, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, like I said, like I don't hate the man. I hope he serves his day in court. And I hope he should never come back to jiu-jitsu personally.
Once he accepts his punishment, I'll have no problem. I mean, I'll have a problem, but he'll be on his back.
Go do his Oh yeah, you go do your time. But at that point, realistically, the time that he deserves, he's not going to be old enough to really have a heyday in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
man should go away for 10 years, in my opinion. 10 years is like, think about it. Like, I don't want to be like, yo, man, he's got a family. You know what I mean? I think of that. That's something people like, regardless, you hate the man. He's got a family. It's going to really suck for his children when he's in prison. And that's his fault too. So like, I try, like at the end of the day, like shame on him. I feel really awkward when I tell people, I got my purple belt from Marcel. When they ask me, where'd you get your purple belt from? And I'm like, Marcel. And they're like, oh, that guy. And I'm like, yeah, but I never knew. Like when I first heard about that, not to like get dragged into that, but I was just shocked. And it wasn't that I was like not surprised. I was shocked. That just goes to show that I held him in high regard.
It was shocking for the whole community,
Yeah, it's like, and I really feel like that more than any of them with like, because I mean, maybe because it's so close to home here in Florida, but that more than any of them was like an eye opener for. And here's the thing: is I'm not saying that it's this way, but and I'm not trashing Brazilians in general, but Brazilians are fucking scumbags, dog. Like one of the best Brazilians that I know, and I know so many really good Brazilians, is like Wagner Roca. That's a good fucking human being. You know, he's loves his wife, has his kids, you know, and like that. Maybe he's not all that behind closed doors. I don't know, but that's my impression. But like, if more Brazilians were like Wagner, we wouldn't be having people touching kids and sexual harassment. And they think that shit's okay over there in Brazil. Like that's legit. Like there ain't no hiding that. She got tits, she got ass, she's fucking. She's driving her own car, going place to place. She's her own woman. She can do that. No man walking around with her. They're gonna do what they are fucking. It's the jungle over there, dude. It's hot. They're fucking horny. They want to fuck anything.
I'm gonna have a Brazilian woman on here in the next couple of weeks who shares a very similar point of view as you, and I think
I know who you're talking about, but yeah. But yeah, hey, dude, that's just the way. Like I and I'll say this, I'll come out on a limb. Like I'm a scoundrel. Like when I talk to a woman that has interest in me, or I think has interest in me, I'm not one of those weirdos who's in their inbox. Hey baby, stupid bitch, don't want to talk to me. Like, I'm not that guy. I really would like to be friends with girls and stuff like that. But at the same time, one thing that really disgusts me, and I mean, like, I have friends that do it. I can't control what they do, but like I just don't like when a girl walks by. Like I will look at a girl and be like, damn, like to myself. I don't want to vocalize it to other people because it's just uncomfortable. And like that's that person. I think it's already bad that I'm thinking bad thoughts like that in my head. I don't want to undress someone in my head or think negative thoughts like that. I'm really at a point in my life where like, I've had a lot of sex. Like, but I'm not a dog like that anymore. I want to have a family. I don't want to be that person and raise children or have a daughter for that matter. I don't want to be that man.
That's the scariest thing in the world to me.
I know, and I've been a dog. I've treated some women like trash. Not saying like I've sexually assaulted women and stuff. And I just told a girl last night because she called me short because like she's like I think forget her. I'm not gonna say her name. I'm not gonna.
Don't say her name.
Yeah, but like that, it was pretty. They saw it was. I screenshot it. It was funny. But like it was about like sending dick pics and stuff, and like one lady's like, "Don't no woman want to see no dick pic," and I got in there and I was like, "Listen, lady, you speak for yourself. I've got a line of women asking me for dick pics." That statement right there is just obvious hyperbole, you know, like just like the way I said it too, like just obvious hyperbole. And she's like, "You say and I was like, she said something. I was like, "Oh no, thank you. If you're interested, you're not my type." You know, like, and just like kind of like, ha. And then the girl whose original post it was got in there and took it so seriously. And she thinks she's this troll. You know what I mean? She thinks she's so funny, but she's really like trolling isn't about like totally body shaming someone or saying something about their race. Like you should really be subtle and piss people off about the smaller thing. Get them to react. That's real troll. Okay. Not like outright just cussing someone out or calling them. And so she's like, wow. You need to sit down, clown, blah, blah, blah. And I go, I was about to be like, nah, I'm just joking. Like, come on. But something in me was being like, nah, you know what, bitch? You got the wrong one today. I was like, you must have a sub 80 IQ because you're fucking stupid. And she's like, you're a fucking dwarf. Send a screenshot. Show proof that women ask for dick pics from you. And she's like, she posts like a picture of me at Fight to Win with my hand up and it's like me, like I'm shorter than the guy. And then she posts like a picture of me at pro training standing next to like Dan Martinez and stuff. And like, and I'm just like, I was like, you're damn right I'm small, probably fit 5 of me in your giant vagina. I was like, probably 10 giant vagina, you small guy, me. And she was just like, delete. And I was just like, this is like trolling 101, you dumb bitch. And like I have no problem like when people are like and I get like that too. And I get put in my place plenty of times. I'm not saying like I'm not wrong. I'm not saying I'm not in the wrong. And I'm fortunate to have the friends that know me and like can see me like get in arguments and be wrong and then me go, you're right. and then still be friends with them at the end of the day. And so like people take things out of context. You fucking like just the other day, like I said something and Michael Vidal loved it because this girl was like blah blah blah, and this is this and weak. And I was like, your feelings are weak. That's all I had to say. I was like, you're just stupid. Like you have dumb feelings. Like you care about things. Like when the facts don't match your feelings, boo-hoo. And people just get so, and like I want to be nice to them and be like, hey, listen, like I didn't mean it like that. But then something snaps to me. I'm like, you know what? They just gonna get. I'm about to fucking run you over with some fucking facts. You're getting BTFO'd right now. You're getting bodied. Fucking RIP, whatever your name is. And like I really just want to joke around. I don't want to be like an ass. Like when I make a post, remember when I used to talk about single mothers?
Yes.
People just get so mad. And like,
listen, I came from a single mother family. I never said shit to you about that because I know who
my
you are.
mom is. I was raised by a single mother, and my mom. Oh God, like you know, like, and I respect my mom, but at the same time, I do hold views like, hey, listen, it's not a proper way to raise children, but there's a lot of really good single mothers out there that raise their children. And I am wrong for posting what I posted, but it was in good fun. I really didn't mean it. Like people know that.
So I think the problem comedians have are the same problem you have, you know, because you're doing your things for comedic relief and with a little bit of a hint of truth to it as well. But people get pissed off at all these comedians for jokes. Like, yeah, they're fucking raunchy. It is what it is. Like, this is Spencer. This is America. He can say what he wants. It's First Amendment, and you don't have to agree with it. Like, probably half the shit you said on the show, I don't agree with, but I still fucking love you. You're still a really good friend of mine. You're going to be fucking back on next week, and we'll fucking talk more shit and piss more people off. But people don't realize that everyone has a right to an opinion. You don't have to agree with it, but it just is what it is.
Yeah, you know, I sometimes I feel like some opinions are absolutely wrong, like pedophilia. Like just the other day, I was like, you know, someone was like, she's beautiful no matter what. And I was like, okay. Just like, cause it was like this 400-pound chick. And I was like, whatever. And she's like, I think everybody is beautiful and like their own right. And I was like, well, I don't. I think rapists and pedophiles, people who harm the elderly, have no beauty in them. Maybe at one point they did, but the moment they did that, you know, I'm ready to, you know, like hit them in the head with the bat.
Yep.
And stuff like that. And I'm a violent person because I just really feel like there's I really do feel like a vigilante.
Spencer, I just want to say one thing right here. Earlier in the show, you said you were a pacifist, and now you're saying you're a violent person. This is the complexity of Spencer.
Yes, but no, and you're right, because that is right. I am a passive person, but I'm a violent person too. Let's say I'm a peaceful person who is skilled at violence.
Yes. That's
what I'll say. And like I used to be very, very angry, but like I really felt like there's more of a use like in a vigilante manner. So like there's been times I've taken the law into my own hands and I felt absolutely right about it. And I just went home to my girlfriend, made love to her like it was nothing, and had no problem doing what I did. And like I feel like there's guys out there that are good guys ultimately, but they have that necessary, you know, bad in them, evil in them that's willing to address the evil in the world and stuff. And the man like, and I have no problem guns ablazing for a few people to live. I have no problem on my soil, not on other soil. I would never go fight a war in another country. I don't agree with that. If you're not invading my country, I want nothing to do with whatever wars you're involved in. It's expensive. It fucking drives us broke. But at the same time, like when it comes down to like wanting to keep the peace, I really do. But when I feel like it's about to be a fight, it's on. If I feel like my life is in danger, then your life has to be taken. That's the way that things should be seen in life, and not everybody can see it that way. So there's people like me. There's people, and I'm not the top. I'm not this trained killer or anything. I'm not saying that, but I have the mindset that's willing to be brave and have the courage to address shit like that. I'm not a fucking coward. That's one thing I'm not. I am not a coward. There's a lot of people that I respect that are very tough that could put me in my place physically, but they're cowards. Especially when maybe not in all situations, but if the going got rough, they would run. I'm ready to die for freedom. I'm ready to die for other people that I feel like if they have a better life, I've lived a good enough life. I will give my life for almost everybody I know that I love. No problem. Not a problem. Jump in front of a bullet. This is just who I am. And then, cool thing, I get to be a hero, but dead. And like, like that's just the way that works, because I'm going to die one day. We're all going to die one day. So I'm going to try and be as nice to all the people I love as I can. And, I got to balance it out with being a shit. I got to be an asshole to some people. I mean, like, you can't be all fucking sunshine, butterflies, and rainbows and unicorns all the time unless you're Emil. Shout out to Emil, though. That's my dog. I love him. yeah. We're two different people who are the same people. But
yeah, and he does not agree with a lot of things you say, but you guys.
No, but he's not going to judge me and hate me for it. Like, I hung out with him and fucking drilled with him. I love Emil to death. I disagree with some things that he did, but I think that's a good human being.
Yeah.
And he's 100%. Funny. I like hanging out with him.
He gets a lot of hate, but he's a good guy, But
he is. Yeah. He's a genuine guy. Like, and he loves jiu-jitsu too. Yes, and he only wants to bring. Emil only wants to bring entertainment to it, and I see that. I do the same thing, but he's better at it than I am, like hands down. And I can't compete with Emil. Like, he's got like a whole like gimmick that he's got going on.
I told Emil he needs to go full heel, because like people just love to hate him already. Like, and he doesn't want to be a heel. He wants to be liked.
I'll be the Nazi, and he can be the Orthodox Jew that like everybody actually hates, and that everybody hates me. We can do that. We can play that, and like always have shit talking, but really we just kind of piss everybody else off. We have to create a treaty.
All right, we've been going at it for 3 hours. Is there anything else you want to say before I let you go?
Well, we all know Epstein didn't kill himself. Hold on, I want to put my glasses on. My glasses. I am really doing my best to stay nicotine free in this time. I'm really looking forward to training with a lot of you guys. Follow me on Darth Patella, or not. Follow me on Sober Grappler on Instagram, Mummy Rap on Snapchat, and then Sober Grappler, Babalu Mummy on Facebook.
I need you to condense your Facebook accounts. There's too many of them.
I'm going to get rid of the other one and just stick with Babalu. But also, like, I'm doing Zoom lessons for anybody that's really interested in learning some tech. If you really want to get in with some privates with me, direct message me here on Babalu. I'd love nothing more to do that. Awesome.
As someone who loves leg lock, Spencer is like one of those guys in my head that like, and we'll get into this again next time I have you on, because I want you to make a list of your favorite leg lock mines. Don't tell me right now, but go ahead and next time we're on here.
It's going to be interesting too. And you're going to like, cause it's not always like what everybody thinks it is.
Exactly.
But like, I'm thinking,
I know you have a list of guys that aren't DDS guys, because
I have hands down
same list too. And like, we got to get into that next time. But I want to vouch for Spencer. Like, he is legit one of the top leg lockers right now. Like, yes, he goes out there, he lives by the sword, he dies by the sword, but his brain on the technique aspect of it and the flowing of the positions together is insane.
Once a week, my coaches and I'm not like my coach Lewis, me, Dan Martinez, Werther, like once a week, we are trying to expand and address something within leg locks to add and improve. And if I just saw Jordan Hawley do something the other week or last week, and it is sexy. And that's why I'm like, and we'll get into that when we're talking about minds and stuff. I'm definitely gonna have Jordan's mind on there.
Yeah, me too.
But like, please hit me up. I mean, like, it's tough. I would love nothing more. I love, my only passion in life is teaching, conveying knowledge and poetry. I like writing poetry. So follow me on Instagram. I do poetry on there. I do readings and stuff, and I really try to get that out there. I'm going to be trying to publish a book here this year, since I've had the time to really gather a lot of, not an actual written book, but a poetry book. But I am I'm thinking of writing an autobiography, because dude, I could write 1,000 pages. 1,000 pages I could easily put in an autobiography. Yep. And that's just going to be, and I can remember all of my drug escapades. That's
I have a lot of guys that have book deals. So when you're ready to do that, let me know.
Yes. And so, like, just, I just want to say, Thank you for all who listen. You know, like it's a really tough time right now. It's a lot of bullshit. I really wish we could have actually got into that too, some like COVID numbers and stuff. Shout out to my boys. I'm wearing the finisher shirt right here. You know, shout out to Zach Maslany and JM Holland. They always show love. We really follow them. If you're not following them or checking out their BJJ Fanatics 10 Planet warm-ups, I had to jump on that because I literally knew nothing when I went to 10 Planet HQ, and it just the main guys. If you want to know the warm-ups, the guys who like literally wrote the warm-ups, basically, get that warm-ups DVD, even if you're not 10th Planet, because it's just good to learn some stuff that isn't what you do, okay? And then big shout-out to DJ T for fucking keeping it real in the White House and fucking giving us pressers every day and letting us know shit and telling us to fucking inject disinfectant, because I really hope some people who hate Trump decide to do it so that they make a statement that Trump was wrong and they die. I really hope that happens. I know I shouldn't wish death on people, but you're idiots. Fuck all y'all. And big shout out to Eddie Bravo for having me on. Shout out to shout out to the clan, man, my Uchiha clan. Ruben Beard, you need to follow him. Game 7, BJJ on Instagram. Stephen Kozlow, follow him on Facebook and Instagram.
UFC champion.
Yeah, hands down, future UFC champion, one of my best friends. Aiden Collins, follow him on Instagram. Aiden Collins, something number, like he's there though. He's on
or something.
Yeah, and he's on Facebook. And then follow my boy Joey Lugo. Like we're in the Uchiha clan. We're a quintet team. We got uniforms. Once the shit comes back up, Duke's got something lined up for us. We're just trying to make a statement. I also want you guys, if you guys have your own events or anything or have some names, these are like 145, 135, 155 guys. Like, consider having them on your tournaments, man. Like, they showed up. They showed out. We had a complete draw out with the Team Finishers team. They went on to win it, beating Team Henzo. They were definitely a good opponent, and I was just like, we had nothing but respect for that team. But, like, these guys are fucking gritty, and I will place them above me on the pedestal.
And I can vouch for everybody in your team. They've all been on Zapatero.
They've all won something big.
They're amazing.
Yeah, so like Aiden Collins, Joey Lugo, Stephen Kozlow, Ruben Beer, and me. We make up the Uchiha clan, all right? So hit us up or hit them up for individual matches. But also, thank you, Josh, for having me on here. It was a joy to be on here.
The best podcast I've done. We went 3 hours. Covered a bunch of
topics. Because I can talk, dude. I can just talk, yeah.
You can. We just go back and forth. But, yeah, I'll have you on next week, and we'll get someone in here and do a little bit of debate, get different perspectives going. It'll be a good time.
Not too smart. I don't want to get BTFO'd, all right? Don't bring someone on here that's just going to, like, bring up stuff I don't have any, like, real research on, but, like, maybe a mutual research and an ideological clash.
We'll figure something out. We'll get a mutual agreement between all participants.
Josh Shilney.
Yeah. He's too busy studying his finals right now. I already talked to
Marcelo Cohen.
Jesus Christ. And on that note, I'm going to get you off of here saying that name.
I'm going to spank that ass, boy. Spank that ass.
All right, Spencer.
I'll see you later, man.
Take it easy, dude.
Take it.
All right, that was Spencer Mumme. Fucking colorful guy. I fucking love him. He was one of the most complex people I know. Total psycho, and he knows it, and I love him for it. But yeah, it was great having him on here. I'll be back Monday with more guests. I think I have Ethan Krellinston coming on. I have some really good guests on the podcast next week, and won't be as crazy as Spencer, but I hope you guys enjoyed that. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon. This podcast will be available on all platforms by this evening if you want to go back and listen and fact check and all that fun shit. So shout out to the sponsors all above. Go show some love. Get yourself some whiskey, some ammo, some coffee, some no-gi grappling gear. Honestly, if you get all 4 of those things, I can almost guarantee your happiness. So take it easy, guys. I'll see you all soon.